Chapter 391. Mount was a force that guarded the country. It was also a force that was at the level of a giant in the transcendent world. Their prestige spread far and wide, and they were known as the 10,000 countries' imperial purposes. Yang Jinnan, Guxiafei, and the others were all knowledgeable people. Naturally, they were familiar with Mount. When they were young, they also wanted to join such a power and become a member. They wanted to reach a higher realm, but unfortunately, they didn't get to do so. Yang Jinan felt that it was unreal that people from Mount had suddenly attacked the Yang family. They didn't have any conflicts with Mount, so why would they attack the Yang family? He thought of his father. Could it be that his father had provoked such a great power? No matter what the reason was, Yang Jinan put away his spear and didn't dare to attack again. If the other party was really from Mount, then they would be in big trouble. A small mortal family dares to attack our Mount. Do you want to be exterminated? Bao Wei roared at Yang Jinan and the others. Yang Jinan stared at Bao Wei and replied firmly, "Our Yang family has never offended Mount, and we don't want to offend them. Why are you provoking us? Since when can people from the transcendental realm interfere with the affairs of the mortal world?" Yang Jinan was very clear about the unwritten rules between the two realms. People from the transcendental realm usually couldn't interfere with the affairs of the mortal world. They couldn't break the order of the mortal world. Bao Wei was about to reply when someone else responded first. "Count Jinan, I can prove that they are from Mount." The person who spoke was Song Jing. She walked in with Huan Junbo. The domineering aura of a ruler was released. The man was handsome, and the woman was beautiful. They could be called a perfect match. "You are?" Yang Jinan looked at Song Jing, who suddenly walked in, and asked. He felt that Song Jing looked familiar, but he couldn't remember who she was. "Song Jing of the Song family." Song Jing replied indifferently. "You are the Song Jing who entered Mount 8 years ago?" Yang Jinan asked in surprise. "That's right, it's me." Song Jing raised her arrogant face and replied faintly. She paused for a moment and continued. "I heard that our Song family and your Yang family have some grudges, so I came here to mediate. It seems that your Yang family is very arrogant. You don't even want to give face to our Mount." Yang Jinan said with a gloomy face, "It's not that we don't want to give you face, but you injured our family members. It's clear that you're here to provoke us. How can we reconcile?" Song Jing said to Bao Wei, "Senior brother Bao, I told you to visit Earl Yang, but I didn't tell you to provoke him, right? Of course, we only came to pay a visit to the Yang family. However, their guards had a bad attitude and attacked us without saying a word. We had no choice but to fight back. I really didn't expect that a common family would have the guts to challenge our Mount. No wonder they dare to go against the imperial edict. They are really lawless." Bao Wei retorted. "Did Earl Jinan hear that clearly?" Song Jing asked. How could Yang Jinan not understand the other's intentions? He didn't have any intention of reconciling. He wanted to refute, but after hesitating, he said weakly, "Let's just say that our Yang family was in the wrong first. Yang Jinan will apologize to you." Just apologizing isn't enough," Huan Junbo said with a cold smile. "So what?" Yang Jinan asked back with a frown. "Does your family have an alchemist called Yang Wu? Call him out to see us." Huan Junbo said, "He's not home." "Then go find him. Make him kneel down and apologize to the Song family. Then we won't argue with you." "You gone too far," Yang Jinan shouted as he shook the dragon rebel spear in his hand. You're right. We gone too far." Huan Junbo laughed arrogantly. "Please leave immediately. You're not welcome here." Yang Jinan knew that the other side wasn't here to talk, but to cause trouble. There was no need to waste his breath on them. "Earl Jinan, you should think about the consequences," Song Jing said indifferently. "I've thought it through. If you want to do anything, then bring it on. Our Yang family would rather die than submit." Yang Jinan said firmly. Guo Xiaofei came to Yang Jinan's side and said, "Rather die than submit. I, Guo Xiaofei, am also willing to become a part of the Yang family and stay here to live and die." Guo Xiaofei was a chivalrous person. He came here to improve his strength through his relationship with Yang Wu and to catch up with Yang Jinan. These past few days, Yang Jinan had been trying to persuade Guo Xiafei to stay and help the Yang family. He had been hesitant, but now he could finally make up his mind. Not because of anything else, but because of Yang Jinan's boldness. It just happened to coincide with him. Brother Guo, you don't have to be like this, Yang Jinan said seriously to Guo Xiafei. Brother isn't someone who's afraid of death. Let's brothers fight side by side, Guo Xiafei said with a firm smile. You're determined to rebel against our main mountain, Huan Junbo said faintly. It's not that we want to rebel, we just don't want to be bullied, Yang Jinan replied in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. All right, don't say I didn't give you a chance. You two come at me together. If you win, then we'll let bygones be bygones. If you lose, then go to the Song family and beg for mercy, Huan Junbo said with contempt. Senior brother Huan. Song Jing called out to Huan Junbo with a trace of worry. Junior sister doesn't trust me? Don't worry, their strength isn't enough. I'll just use them as practice, Huan Junbo said with incomparable confidence. He waved at Yang Jinan and Guo Xiafei and said, You only have one chance. Hurry up and come. My Yang family doesn't want to be enemies with a main mountain, and we're even more unwilling to offend your main mountain. Today you've gone too far. Let me fight with you. No matter who wins or loses, I hope you won't make things difficult for others, Yang Jinan said with an expression of going all out. Old Guo, also want to test the strength of a Mei Mountain's disciples. Guo Xiafei raised his sword and stepped forward. Ha! Come at me together. Huan Junbo gave a long laugh and released his powerful aura. At the same time, he locked onto the two people in front of him. In the next moment, the three powerful kings fought fiercely together. A battle between kings was considered a battle between the strongest in the mortal world. It caused a huge commotion. The Imperial Guards were responsible for protecting the peace of King City, so they naturally rushed over to suppress this kind of incident. Unfortunately, the Imperial Guards received orders from their superiors and their actions were suppressed. After Wan Lanxin, who had just been promoted to the third commander of the Imperial Guards, received the news, she recklessly led her men and rushed to the Yang family. Everything in the Yang family was left behind. The Yang family was in a mess. Everything in the courtyard was destroyed. Part of the house was ruined as if it had encountered a level 12 storm. Something big has happened, Wan Lanxin cried out involuntarily. She recklessly rushed into the Yang family. Yang Jinan and Guo Xiafei were defeated. They didn't die, but their situation wasn't good. Su Romei was taking care of them with tears in her eyes. Fortunately, Yang Wu had left a healing pill for her. After the people of Amei Mountain retreated, she gave them the healing pill and stabilized their injuries. Otherwise, it would have been worse. And Su, what happened? Wan Lanxin, dressed in martial attire, came to Su Romei's side and asked. Su Romei wiped her tears and briefly explained what had just happened. She sighed again and again. Our Yang family is suffering. We just recovered a bit of our former atmosphere, but we're being bullied by these people. When Wu comes back, I don't know what will happen. Wan Lanxin was relieved when she heard that Yang Wu was fine. However, seeing the Yang family in such a state, she was also in a bad mood. She could only persuade. The Song family has gone too far. I'll go find the emperor to judge. Lan Xian, don't go. They are people of the country. Even the imperial palace can't punish them. Quickly go and inform Wu. Tell him to go as far as possible. He must not have any conflicts with them. Su Romei told Wan Lanxin. I'm afraid I won't be able to persuade him, Wan Lanxin said with a troubled expression. She was very clear about Yang Wu's temperament. If he left after such a thing happened to his family, he wouldn't be Yang Wu. Quickly go. Tell him that these are my words. He won't dare to disobey. When his father gets better, we will leave King City and meet up with him. We won't stay in King City any longer. As a mother, Su Romei only wanted her family to be safe and sound. She didn't care about fame or fortune. Then I'll go and try. Wan Lanxin also didn't want anything to happen to Yang Wu. This time was different from what had happened before. Mount Amei was a huge monster. The Xia dynasty was only a small area under its control. No matter how powerful Yang Wu was, he couldn't challenge it. Wan Lanxin brought her people and left the Yang residence. Her expression was very serious. She didn't know how Yang Wu would react after hearing the news. I hope it won't be too bad. Wan Lanxin didn't have any confidence in her heart. Song residence. Song Jing, Huan Junbo, and the others had already returned. They immediately went to see Ji Lanyu. They told her that the Yang clan thought too highly of themselves and didn't put the people of Mauname in their eyes. They even injured Bao Wei and the others. That was why they were forced to retaliate and teach the Yang clan's patriarchal lesson. Things had turned sour. Ji Lanyu wasn't a fool. How could she not see through their little tricks? However, things had already happened. She couldn't blame them. After all, they were young and hot-blooded. They would definitely use force to oppress others. Since the Yang clan didn't know what was good for them, there was no harm in letting them suffer a little. Did you see Yang Wu? Ji Lanyu asked. I didn't see him. I don't know where he went. However, I believe he will come to seek an audience very soon. Song Jing replied. And you guys should also pay attention. No matter what, a heavenly alchemist is worth roping in. There are only benefits and no disadvantages for our Mauname. Don't lose the big picture for the small. Ji Lanyu reminded Song Jing and Huan Junbo. If not for the fact that these two were inner disciples of the sect, she wouldn't have spoken to them so amiably. They didn't understand the value of a heavenly alchemist. She faintly felt that letting them handle this matter would become a huge hidden danger. Chapter 392. On this day, the whole royal city was filled with a strange atmosphere. The imperial palace and all the major families received the news that the Yang mansion was provoked. Yang Jinan was seriously injured, which caused a huge uproar. The Yang mansion was already a marquee mansion. It was one of the top 5 noble families in Royal City. But such a big mansion was provoked. It can be seen how powerful the other party was. There was no response from the imperial palace. The people in the city were guessing whether the Medicine King Hall had retaliated against the Yang family, or whether Prince Fu and had once again raided the Yang family. Only the highest figures knew that this matter was related to the ancient war chariot. At the same time, the Medicine King Hall suddenly announced that the previous Medicine King Hall had become a heavenly alchemist. This news once again caused a heated discussion. The Medicine King Pavilion had always monopolized 70 to 80% of the supply of medicinal pills in the capital. The previous pavilion master, Yao Yen Hai, was a top-notch medicine king, and his pill refining skills were rather brilliant. In order to break through to the heavenly master realm, he had no choice but to pass the position to his son and focus on cultivating, searching for the opportunity to break through to the heavenly master realm. But now he finally succeeded. Not only did he break through to the heavenly fish realm, but he also refined a heavenly pill, which attracted a lightning punishment. This caused a sensation in the Medicine King Hall and Royal City. Although the lightning punishment he attracted was not as big as the one Yang Wu attracted that day, he was still a genuine heavenly alchemist. Moreover, who knows if he was holding back? After this news broke out, the atmosphere in Royal City became even more different. After this heavenly alchemist came out, he did not go to the Imperial Palace, but went directly to the Song Mansion. The Imperial Palace's face instantly disappeared. This was even more shameful than when Yang Wu disobeyed the imperial decree. The emperor's authority was once again questioned. When did the imperial power lose its prestige? In the medicine hall's warehouse, Yang Wu came out. After he obtained the dragon flame fist from the ghost, he asked the ghost some questions. The ghost answered truthfully and didn't dare to play any tricks. It turned out that this ghost was a character from the transcendent realm. It was killed by its enemy, and its soul was suppressed here, so it could never be reincarnated. It had experienced many years, but it was able to live until now because of its amazing soul power. It was unwilling to die just like that. It wanted to find a way to resurrect and take revenge. Yang Wu did not have much interest in its resurrection. No matter how much it bragged about its identity, it was already a thing of the past. What was the point of its resurrection? Yang Wu only wanted to extract as much useful information from this ghost as possible. Why would he resurrect someone who was an unknown factor? Stay here for now. When I come up with a way to revive you, I'll revive you. Yang Wu ended his communication with the ghost, leaving only a few words to fool the ghost. I have a way to revive you. Please. The ghost understood what Yang Wu meant and wanted to fight for it. However, Yang Wu had already retracted his soul, and ignored it. The ghost was suppressed by the urinal and couldn't come out at all. Furthermore, its soul power was weak, and it had no choice but to continue staying in the urinal. Little Hay said to Yang Wu, "This is at least 1,000-year-old ghost. If it can be revived, it might be of great help. You have a way to revive it?" Yang Wu asked. "It depends on how it is revived. Whether it is reincarnated, found a puppet body to possess, or recreated a real body to revive. Every method is different, and the difficulty is different." Little Hay listed out many different methods of revival in one breath, causing Yang Wu to be dumbfounded. People could be revived after they died? This was the first time he had heard of such a ridiculous thing. "Little Hay, can you stop trying to fool me? If people could be revived after they died, then the world would be in chaos." Yang Wu came back to his senses and said, "What do you know? Why do people cultivate? Ordinary people cultivate to strengthen their bodies. The strong pursue martial power, and the transcendents pursue immortality. If people can live forever, they can naturally be revived. As long as one's cultivation is high enough, even a drop of blood can be reborn. These things are still too far away from you. You won't understand, even if I explain more. Cultivate well. Once you gather the other types of mysterious essence qi, you might be able to touch upon that domain." Little Hay said faintly. Yang Wu took a deep breath and said, "Immortality is everyone's dream. It seems that I have to quickly resolve the matters around me and find the next type of mysterious essence qi." "Yes, that's what you should do. Throw everything else aside." Lil Hay agreed. Yang Wu walked out of the room. "Young master, you're finally out." Gung Jian had been waiting outside the room. When he saw Yang Wu come out, he revealed a nervous expression. "Why are you so flustered?" Yang Wu sensed that something was wrong with Gung Jian. "You should go to the main hall. Commander Wan is waiting for you." Gung Jian replied. "Commander Wan?" Yang Wu was puzzled. In the next moment, he thought of Wan Lanxin and quickly walked toward the medicine hall storehouse. Very quickly, he arrived at the hall. Han Qingxian and Wan Lanxin were both here. He did not wait for the two to speak and asked Wan Lanxin, "Sister, what happened?" Wan Lanxin came to Yang Wu's side and said, "Wu, something happened in your family. Uncle was injured." Just as she said this, Yang Wu's eyes lit up and he shouted, "Who did it?" Immediately after, he wanted to rush out of the hall and return home. A dragon has a reverse scale. If you touch it, you will die. His family is his reverse scale. Wan Lanxin was already prepared. She pulled Yang Wu and said, "Wu, you calm down first. Listen to me before you make a decision. What happened? Who ate the bear's heart and leopard's gall? Is it Prince Fu or Medicine King Hall?" Yang Wu calmed down and asked loudly. Since he came back from a border, he disobeyed the imperial edict. He also fought with hundreds of officials in the Golden Lawn Palace. He also swept away Prince Fu and Prime Minister Song's face. He also slapped the Medicine King Hall's face and became the youngest heavenly alchemist. Even the emperor has recognized his existence. So, who else dares to do this to his Yang family? In his mind, the first thing he thought of was Prince Fu and in Medicine King Hall. Only these two have a deep grudge with the Yang family and have the ability to retaliate. Aside from them, he can't think of any other forces. "It's Mauname," Wan Lanxin concisely replied. Yang Wu froze for a moment, then exclaimed, "How did you get involved with them?" Wan Lanxin relayed what Su Rome told her to Yang Wu. After Yang Wu listened, he clenched his fists. The anger in his eyes became more intense. He gritted his teeth and said, "Prime Minister Song, Mauname, I don't care who you are, but you can't hurt my family." Yang Wu wanted to go home again, but Wan Lanxin grabbed his hand and said, "Do you know what kind of force Mauname is? Annie told you to avoid the limelight first. I also think this is a good idea. With your identity as a heavenly alchemist, no matter where you go, you will be respected by tens of thousands of people. Uncle and Annie will soon join you. Don't be impulsive." If they didn't hurt my father, then it would be fine. But now that they have done such a thing, how can I take this lying down? Sis, let go, Yang Wu said with a ball of anger. These days, his mood was quite good. Everything he did went smoothly, and he felt that no one would dare to provoke him anymore. Now, he knew that his thoughts were too naive. He was not an invincible being. There were still many people above him, and there were even colossal forces involved. While he was furious, he also felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his heart, making him understand that there was always someone more powerful than him, and there was always someone more powerful than him. I won't let go. You should leave. Mount Amei is not something you can contend against right now. Wan Lanxin firmly persuaded. Yang Wu took a deep breath and said, Sis, my father is injured. It's impossible for me not to go back and see him. Don't worry, I won't do anything rash. Without waiting for Wan Lanxin's agreement, Yang Wu had already used enough strength to shake off Wan Lanxin's wrist. Immediately after, he flew out of the hall and spread his wings. Whoosh! Yang Wu's flying speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared. Only Meng Bingxue, who was hiding in the dark, could keep up with his speed. Even the silver-patterned turtle could not. Wan Lanxin stamped her feet on the ground and also rushed out, quickly chasing in the direction of the Yang mansion. Han Qingqian looked at Yang Wu, who was leaving in a hurry. He revealed a worried expression and muttered to himself, What a troublesome time. Flying was not allowed in the King's City. This was under the jurisdiction of the Imperial Guards. No one could violate this rule. However, Yang Wu did not care about that. He was burning with anxiety, afraid that something would happen to his father. The Imperial Guards noticed that someone was flying in the sky. They all knew that this was a king. Only their commander had the right to stop him. However, Yang Wu's speed was too fast. They could not see his face clearly. Yang Wu had already disappeared without a trace. After a while, Yang Wu had already returned to the sky above his house. He looked down at the mess in his house. His heart trembled. Without thinking, he dove down. Who is it? The Death Legion's people exclaimed. Yang Wu was too lazy to answer them. He hurriedly rushed towards his father's room. When the Death Legion's people wanted to chase after him, they heard someone say, That's the commander. This time, everyone stopped. At the same time, their state of mind also calmed down. In their eyes, the commander was the stabilizing force. With the commander, everything would be fine. Everything would be settled. Yang Wu arrived in front of his father's room. Suppressing his anger, he gently pushed the door open. His mother looked at him and said with a sad expression, Didn't I tell you to leave? Why aren't you back yet? Mother's words do not work anymore. The pitiful hearts of parents in the world. No matter what, they would always put the safety of their children first. They had no regrets. Mother, if I leave, am I still human? Yang Wu quickly walked in and replied. Chapter 393. As a son, if he abandoned his parents in times of danger, he would be worse than a beast. Yang Wu was a filial son. When he came back from the border, he knelt down and kowtowed to his parents. Now, it was even more impossible for him to abandon them. Su Rome sighed softly and said, We can't win against them. Let's pack up and leave. Your father and Uncle Gua are both heavily injured. I'm afraid the journey won't be easy. Mother, don't worry. We don't have to go anywhere. Yang Wu comforted her and walked into the room to check on his father's condition. Yang Jinan was lying on the bed. His breathing was very weak, and his face was very pale. Yang Wu lifted his father's quilt on the spot. He saw that his father's chest was bandaged with thick gauze and vaguely saw a trace of blood. His heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Yang Wu didn't say anything. He took out the king-level healing pill that he had refined and fed it to his father. This was a high-level healing pill that he had just refined in the past few days. Its medicinal effect was very strong and was enough to save his father's life. Yang Wu felt that it wasn't enough. He immediately ordered people to bring over a bathtub. He refined many medicinal liquids that could heal external injuries and dripped them into the bathtub. He then untied his father's bandages and soaked his father in the bathtub. This medicinal liquid was very effective. If taken orally and applied externally, it could speed up his father's recovery. Yang Jinan hadn't taken the qi reversal pill for long. There were still many medicinal effects that hadn't been used yet. Now, he could refine and absorb them all. Yang Wu didn't only care about his father. He also prepared a king-level healing pill and a bathtub of medicinal liquid for Guo Xiaofei. He definitely wouldn't treat people who helped the Yang family unfairly. Then, he went to check on the casualties of the Death Legion. Fortunately, they were only injured and not dead. This time, the people of Mount Amei had come to provoke him. Most of the elites of the Death Legion had followed him to the Medicine Hall storehouse. Only Duguang Fo, a commander of the Earthsea realm, was at home. If he had left the silver-patterned turtle, Shueji, and the others behind, they might have had some ability to resist. The defenses of the house are still too weak. Little He, I want to strengthen the defenses of the house. I don't want something like this to happen again. Yang Wu said to Little He. Little He could feel the fury in Yang Wu's heart, and she made a serious promise. Give me the profound spirit stones today, and I'll set up a heaven formation for you. Even if a heaven realm martial artist comes, they'll have to submit to it. Yang Wu arrived at the main hall of the Yang family. Fortunately, the main residence was not destroyed. Lu Ji, Shueji, Li Dazue, Zhou Yong, Zheng Xiao, Geng Jian, Huang Changjian, and other important subordinates were all gathered here. Yang Karen did not appear. Perhaps she had already left King City. Yang Wu looked at the people present and said faintly, Everyone has seen what happened to the Yang family. Our Yang family is facing a great enemy, and they even dared to provoke the emperor. The other party even ordered me to kneel and beg for mercy. What does everyone think? Yang Wu's actions were precisely to test the hearts of the people. Who was loyal and who was not. At this time, he would be able to see some clues. My lord, the other party has gone too far. We should fight back. Lu Ji was the first to stand up and say firmly. Right now, Lu Ji's complexion was much better than before. This was because his cultivation had strengthened his physique. I'll kill whoever the commander wants me to. The second was Li Dazue. Zhou Yong and Zheng Xiaohu also expressed their opinions. They were all members of the Death Legion and had long disregarded life and death. Now that Yang Wu was their master, they would not be disloyal. Commander, whoever you want me to blind, I'll blind. Shueji bit his needle and thread and said coldly. Geng Jian did not hesitate and hurriedly said, Heavenly Master Marquis, I live as a member of the Yang family, and I die as a ghost of the Yang family. After witnessing Yang Wu's alchemy skills, he had already prostrated himself in admiration of Yang Wu. Of course, he would not choose to leave Yang Wu at this time. He was a very principled person. Back then, under the threat of the Medicine King Hall, he did not rely on the Medicine King Hall. Now, he would not leave just because the Yang family was threatened. Huang Changjian had also clung to Yang Wu's thigh with great difficulty, so he could only grit his teeth and follow to the end. Very good. This time, the enemy we are facing is the largest power in this land, Mount Amei. Do you still insist on following this marquis? Yang Wu asked again. The three words, Mount Amei, were like the weight of Mount Tai, causing everyone's breathing to become rapid and uncomfortable. It meant that there was almost no challenge to them, and that they were completely seeking their own deaths. My lord, are we really going to become enemies with the entire Mount Amei? Lu Ji reacted the fastest and grasped the main point. If they were really going to become enemies with the entire Mount Amei, there was no suspense. Everyone should quickly disperse. If not, there might still be a chance for survival. I just want you to be mentally prepared. They do not represent the entire Mount Amei. Yang Wu replied, That's good. We will do whatever my lord tells us to do. We will not regret it even if we die 10,000 times. Lu Ji said with a sigh of relief. Commander, are we going to go all out against them? Zhou Yong asked. Don't worry. I don't need you to help me with these matters. The most important thing is for you to guard your home well and continuously increase your strength. It is enough for you to do your part. Other matters can only be solved by this marquis. Yang Wu replied. Then he said, Everyone disperse. Go and reorganize the morale of the army. I will give enough money to those who are unwilling to stay and let them leave. I will not make things difficult for anyone. Once you stay, be prepared to die at any time." After he finished speaking, Yang Wu only asked Lu Ji to stay and let everyone else disperse. Among so many people, he trusted Lu Ji the most. He wanted to hear Lu Ji's opinion. If it was a few months ago, how could he endure until now? He would have already killed his way to the Song Mansion. After experiencing so many things, he had matured a lot. "The Song Mansion bullied me. What should I do?" Yang Wu asked Lu Ji. "Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will be victorious in 100 battles. My lord, we still don't know the background of the other party. It is not advisable to act blindly without thinking." Lu Ji muttered, "Are we just going to let it go like this?" "Of course not. Their goal is to lure my lord to their home. If my lord doesn't go, they will definitely come again. During this time, we can send people to gather information and find out why the Song Mansion has such a relationship with Mauname." Lu Ji said. He paused for a moment and said, "In addition, the other party is from the transcendent world. They can't get involved in the conflicts of the mortal world. This point can also be made. I think the people of Mauname were worried about this point, so they didn't kill anyone." Yang Wu said, "Very pertinent, but that is only an unwritten rule. If they really want to bully us, no one will dare to say anything. It seems that I still have to personally go to the Song Mansion. I can't let my father suffer this loss for no reason. Otherwise, people will think that I, Yang Wu, am easy to bully. My lord, you can't. The other party must have deliberately provoked you. That place must be a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. It is the most suitable place to wait." Lu Ji persuaded. While Yang Wu was still hesitating, an imperial decree came to the Yang Wu mansion and asked him to go to the palace to see the emperor. Yang Wu has no intention to go to the palace, but Lu Ji said from the side, "My lord, this is a good opportunity to understand the opponent. Don't miss it." Yang Wu thought for a moment and followed the eunuch to the palace. However, before entering the front palace, he asked Meng Bingxue to stay behind just in case. Then, he went to see the emperor alone. Along the way, he thought a lot. Song Mansion, Prince Fuwen, and Medicine King Hall were enough to give him a headache. But now, with the addition of Mauname, he felt a lot of pressure. Unknowingly, he arrived at the palace and met the emperor in the Yangshin Palace Hall. The emperor has taken off his dragon robe and was only wearing an ordinary luxurious dress. He looked very approachable. Only the emperor was here, there was no one else. After Yang Wu greeted the emperor sternly said, "Yang Wu, this time, you must endure the grievances. Don't be presumptuous again." "Huangshan, why do you say that?" Yang Wu said with a frown. The emperor looked at Yang Wu and said earnestly, "Yang Wu, you've disobeyed the imperial edict many times. The reason why I've tolerated you is not only because you have a heaven realm expert protecting you, but also because you have a mysterious expert to rely on. Moreover, you know your limits and gave me a way out, so I'll let bygones be bygones. This time, it's different from the past. Mauname is a force that protects a country. They have countless kings and countless heaven realm experts. There are even existences that have surpassed the heaven realm. They are one of the giant forces in the transcendent world. Huangshan, you are right. But is my small Yang family worthy of Mauname's attention just because of the Song family? Where do they get so much face from?" Yang Wu asked back. Minister Song's family has a daughter and a son who entered Mauname. Moreover, they have both become inner sect disciples. The emperor said with a bit of envy. Although the imperial family also had people in Mauname, most of them were only outer sect disciples. Those who entered the inner sect did not obtain a better position. They were not as good as the Song family's daughter and son who were doing well in Mauname. So that's how it is. But aren't the people of the transcendent world unable to interfere with the matters of the mortal world? They're breaking the rules. Aren't they afraid that the higher-ups will punish them? Yang Wu asked again. This is an unwritten rule. Moreover, so what if they know? Your Yang family is not worth mentioning in their eyes. The emperor said. After pausing for a moment, he continued, "If it weren't for the fact that you are the youngest heavenly pharmacist, I would not have said these things to you. You should endure it for now. I will call Minister Song over and have your two families reconcile. What do you think? Yang Wu caught a trace of probing in the emperor's eyes. He reacted quickly and asked, Huangshang, Mei is in charge of the Xia. Shouldn't they first enter the palace to see your majesty? Do they think that Minister Song can already represent your majesty? Yang Wu's words could be said to be an affront to the emperor's authority. However, he already had the ability to sit on equal footing with the emperor. He was too lazy to care whether or not the emperor was angry. The emperor's sore spot was exposed by Yang Wu. His old face revealed a displeased expression as he said, Minister Song enjoys the fortune of having children. I do not have this fortune. Huangshang, if I also join Mei, I wonder if Mei will also value me as much. Chapter 394. No one knew about the secret meeting between Yang Wu and the emperor, let alone what they talked about. After Yang Wu left Yangxin Palace Hall, he felt much better, so he went to Princess Tang Xiaoan's courtyard to visit her. Although he had not accepted Tang Xiaoan, this beautiful princess had a good temperament. She did not have the arrogance of a princess, so she was a good friend. Tang Xiaoan was overjoyed that Yang Wu would take the initiative to visit her, and her smile was brighter than a flower. Yang Wu didn't stay with the princess for long. He took his leave in less than an hour. The princess did not ask him to stay. She knew what had happened in the Yang family, and knew that he must be very busy. She just reminded him to be careful and sent him out. Yang Wu returned to the Yang family, and did not look for trouble with the Song family. He shut himself in and did not come out. Many of the aristocratic families were disappointed. They knew Yang Wu's character. He should be angry and kill his way to the Song residence. He was not even afraid of the imperial edict, so why would he be afraid of Minister Song? After waiting for 2 days, they found that Yang Wu did not make any move. They could not help but sigh. Mei is a big mountain. Even the arrogant Marquis Xiao Wu was crushed. In the Song residence, Song Jing and Huan Junbo felt that Yang Wu was scared and did not dare to take revenge. They originally planned to visit again, but the palace martial arts examination was about to begin. Ji Lanyu wanted to take them to the Imperial Palace and the Imperial College to visit. The Imperial Palace and the Imperial College had already sent people to invite them. It would be too much if they did not give them face. Ji Lanyu not only went to these two places, but also to the Medicine King Hall. She stayed there for 2 days, which made the Medicine King Hall's limelight rise again. Everyone was wondering if the Medicine King Hall had a deep relationship with Mei. Yang Wu's limelight was overshadowed, and those who were hostile to Yang Wu showed their arrogance again. They even told the Yang family to get out of the city immediately, or else they would have to bear the consequences. This made those officials and rich businessmen who wanted to be close to the Yang family like snakes and scorpions. They did not dare to curry favor with the Yang family like before, for fear of being implicated. Through this incident, the Yang family once again saw the fickleness of human nature. What was surprising was that the Su family had once again come knocking on his door. Old Master Su brought his entire family to the Yang family. Even his second son, Su Mingbo, who was unwilling to come, was forcefully called over. Su Romei personally went out to open the door to welcome them. She was moved to tears as she said to them, "Father, what are you doing here at this time? Go back quickly." The first time a Yang family was in trouble, no one from the Su family came to help. She even suspected that they were adding insult to injury. She felt extremely uncomfortable. Now, the Yang family was in trouble for the second time. Although it didn't seem as serious as the first time, it was actually much more serious than the first time. Even the Imperial Palace could only kneel down and lick the feet of that Colossus. If that Colossus really wanted to deal with the Yang family would only have a path of death. Old Master Su said with tears in his eyes, "If I didn't come, I might not have a daughter anymore. I'll let you guys down." Last time, Old Master Su tacitly agreed with his son's actions in order to protect the Su family. This time, he came to look at his daughter and felt a wave of guilt. This was a piece of his flesh and blood. How could he bear to leave her in the lurch? Su Romei welcomed them into the Yang family. Yang Jinan came out to greet them. Yang Jinan's injuries weren't light. However, Under the two-pronged treatment of his son, Wang Dan, and the medicinal liquid, he recovered surprisingly quickly. Brother-in-law, I heard that your injuries weren't light. It's better if you go back and rest, Su Hurin said kindly after seeing Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan didn't hate the Su family. He also didn't care about who was right and who was wrong. It was fine as long as his wife didn't have a knot in her heart. I'm fine. It's rare for you guys to come, so why should I lie down? Yang Jinan replied. He then bowed to old Master Su and greeted him. Greetings to father-in-law. It's fine, it's fine. It's been hard on you guys. This time, our two families are together. Old Master Su said firmly. Father-in-law, we appreciate your kindness. However, this time is different from the last time. The Song family has Mauname as their backing. If they really want to deal with us, they will definitely uproot us. Even the imperial family won't dare to stop them. You guys should hurry back, Yang Jinan said with a serious expression. Father, we should, Su Mingbo said to old Master Su with a fearful expression. Before he could finish, old Master Su interrupted him and said, there's no need to persuade them. If we're afraid of this and that, what's the point of being a human? Mauname isn't their world. They're just using it as a tiger's skin. I believe that the people of Mauname won't be easily used by them. As long as we act righteously and stand upright, there's nothing to be afraid of. Old Master Su's body emitted an old and tenacious aura. It was the aura of someone who had once been a high official. He really had some strength of character. That's my father, the third son of the Su family, Su Yinshui, softly exclaimed. At this time, Yang Wu walked in and said, Grandfather, you have to keep your word. It's better if we don't separate when disaster strikes. Everyone's gaze turned towards Yang Wu. The Su family finally saw their nephew, who had risen like a comet. They couldn't help but exclaim in their hearts, what a good Marquis Xiao Wu. Yang Wu had already changed a lot compared to a year ago. He grew taller and more handsome. There was also an indescribable aura that shrouded the area, causing people to raise their eyebrows. When the Su family faced Yang Wu, they couldn't say anything. Old Master Su also smacked his lips. The words that were about to come out of his mouth seemed to be stuck. He wanted to say something, but couldn't. The person they let down the most was Yang Wu. At that time, the disaster was caused by Yang Wu. They all blamed Yang Wu for not knowing how to appreciate favors. It was his fortune for the princess to take a fancy to him. He actually rejected such a good marriage, and in the end, created a disaster. Now, this youth once again rose up powerfully. They were very regretful in their hearts. At the same time, they wondered how this youth managed to survive in such a dangerous situation. Wooer, you're not allowed to talk about your grandfather like that. Only Su Rome dared to loudly reprimand Yang Wu. Yang Wu could only obediently smile and say, Mother, I'm only speaking the truth. At that time, even if I did something wrong, you guys didn't do anything wrong. They didn't even care about kinship and put in a few good words for you guys. I don't care about such a grandfather. Yang Wu still had a lot of resentment towards the Su family. Old Master Su said guiltily, Wu is right. Grandfather has let you guys down. This time, no matter what, grandfather will be with you guys. Even if it costs my life, I won't hesitate. Your old bones are already worthless, Yang Wu said with disdain. Pa! Su Rome couldn't hold it in anymore and directly slapped Yang Wu's head and scolded. Immediately apologize to your grandfather. Is this how you talk to your elders? Forget it. This child has resentment in his heart. Let him say a few words. Old Master Su said. No, he thinks that his wings have hardened. He doesn't even care about his mother's words. Su Rome said sternly. Yang Wu wasn't angry. He hugged his mother's hand and said, Mother, don't be angry. Let me say a few words. At that time, I was called a pile of shit by others. It was simply unbearable to look at. That's all in the past. Mother wants you to forget it immediately. Do you understand? Su Rome said very domineeringly. Okay, forget it. Forget it immediately. Yang Wu said very helplessly. Ha! Little sister is still the one who taught her son well. Su Yinshui said with a long laugh. Third uncle, let's go out and practice. I remember that you used to kick my butt. Let's see if you can kick it again this time. Yang Wu looked at Su Yinshui and said, Among the Su clan, Yang Wu had a better relationship with Su Yinshui. After all, Su Yinshui had taught him for a period of time. He still trusted Su Yinshui's character. Okay, I want to see if you've really improved a lot. Su Yinshui also didn't want to stay here and agreed. After Su Yinshui followed Yang Wu out, the atmosphere in the hall became much better. Old Man Su and Su Rome talked about the daily life of a father and daughter, while Yang Zhenan called for Su Hurin and Su Mingbo to drink tea. Outside the room, Yang Wu and Su Yinshui didn't really start fighting. Instead, they walked to a stone chair that had been set up and drank while chatting. "Little brat, you've grown up. Now you even dare to challenge me," Su Yinshui said very casually as he looked at Yang Wu. "Third uncle, I didn't know how strong you were before. Now I know. The high-level Earthsea realm is not bad." Yang Wu looked seriously at Su Yinshui and said he had heard his parents talk about Su Yinshui's strength before. At that time, he didn't know that Su Yinshui was the king of the high-level Earthsea realm. "Hee, your horizons have also increased a lot. No wonder you don't even put the emperor in your eyes." Su Yinshui laughed. He paused for a moment and said, "What is your current strength?" "Third uncle can't see it clearly. It seems like you've just entered the Earthsea realm, but it also seems like you're at the peak of the Earthsea realm. It's very strange." "Third uncle, why don't you give it a try?" Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, "Okay, then let's give it a try," Su Yinshui said. He flicked a finger and pointed it at Yang Wu's chest. His attack came without any warning. It was so fast that others couldn't see it clearly. It didn't seem like he was showing any mercy. Unfortunately, no matter how fast his attack was, it couldn't escape Yang Wu's senses. Yang Wu's figure moved to the side and avoided this point. At the same time, he quickly leaned to the side and used his elbow as the point of attack to strike his third uncle. Yang Wu's counterattack was quick, and Su Yinshui could barely keep up with it. He spread out his palms to block, but a powerful force slammed into his palms and forced him back a few steps. Su Yinshui said in astonishment, "Good boy, your strength isn't bad." Again, after saying this, he increased his strength and attacked Yang Wu. He didn't use his internal force for fear of causing too much of a commotion. "Come, don't hold back anymore. You'll be at a disadvantage," Yang Wu said confidently. "There aren't many people who can make me at a disadvantage. Don't worry, I'll definitely be one of them. You really kicked my butt. I'm not done with you." Chapter 395. Yang Wu and Su Yinshui fought until Su Yinshui admitted defeat. Although the two of them did not use profound qi and relied on their own abilities to fight, Su Yinshui could not hit Yang Wu. However, he was kicked a few times by Yang Wu and quickly admitted defeat. "You brat, this is a blatant revenge," Su Yinshui said snappily as he rubbed his butt. Yang Wu's kick was not light, and Su Yinshui's old face was a little embarrassed. Yang Wu laughed. "Third uncle, I only kicked a few times. When I was young and didn't cultivate hard, I was kicked by you until my butt bloomed. If I didn't kick you, would you be where you are today? Brat, you should be grateful to me." Su Yinshui replied snappily, and then he said, "No, you have to compensate me, or else third uncle will not let you off." "Why are you not letting me off? Do you have the strength?" Yang Wu crossed his arms and laughed. "I don't have the strength, but your mother does. I don't believe that your mother can't take care of you. Don't you know that your mother and I have a deep sibling relationship?" Su Yinshui laughed. Yang Wu patted his forehead and said, "All right, you win. Let's sit down and have a good chat. Don't try to change the topic. Hurry up and give me 1 or 2 heaven pills so that I can become a heaven realm expert. This way, I can get the title of Xia's #1 expert to play with." "Third uncle, are you daydreaming? What? Don't tell me that you, a heavenly alchemist, don't have the ability." "I do, but your heaven pill is candy. You can eat it however you want, and don't think about how many medicinal ingredients are needed to refine a heaven pill." "Ugh, that's true. I was a little too anxious, but I have some preparations for the medicinal ingredients, so it shouldn't be a problem to get an Earth King Dan, right?" Su Yinshui hesitated for a moment and said. Yang Wu said with a smile, "Sure, since we are acquaintances, I'll give you a discount. 3 sets of Earth King Dan medicinal ingredients, plus 10,000 low-grade profound spirit stones as a reward. Su Yinshui said with wide eyes, "Good brat, you even want to blackmail third uncle. Third uncle, why don't you ask around? How much is an Earth King Dan worth? 10,000 low-grade profound spirit stones is already a generous price." Yang said very honestly. Indeed, the price of a king-grade pill was incomparably expensive. Even the ordinary king-grade healing pills sold in the Medicine King's pavilion cost 10,000 low-grade profound spirit stones. As for the profound congealing pill, which could enhance one's strength, it would cost 50,000 low-grade profound spirit stones. Moreover, even if one had the money, there was no market for it. Not to mention the best quality Earth King pill, it would cost at least 100,000 high-grade profound spirit stones. Su Yinshui did not know where he got a cigarette from, but he said with a smile, "Third uncle is working for the imperial court, and all the profound spirit stones are used for cultivation, so I don't have that many. Can't you give third uncle one for free? We are related by blood, and I have even given you pointers." He said a lot of emotional words, and Yang Wu did not want to listen anymore, so he turned around and returned to the hall. Don't go. Third uncle will think of a way. Everything can be discussed." Su Yinshui quickly stopped in front of Yang Wu and pleaded. The Earth King Dan was of great importance, and he really did not want to miss it. He must hold this nephew's thigh tightly. "The enemies I have offended are Fuan Mansion, Song Mansion, Medicine King Pavilion, and even Mount. You must think clearly." Yang Wu seriously looked at Su Yinshui and said. Su Yinshui waved his long staff and said, "Didn't the old man say it? Our two families must be together, even if we die. Well, I hope you can listen to your words. I will write a prescription for you. You go and gather the herbs, and I will refine an Earth King Dan for free." Yang Wu simply said, "Ha, this is my good nephew," Su Yinshui said with incomparable excitement. From this moment on, the Yang and Su families buried the hatchet. The two families were related by blood, and old man Su also put down his pride. Su Romei's temper was soft, so she naturally hoped that the two families would be well. The more they faced a crisis, the more they needed to unite. It was also because of old man Su's decision that the Su family got another chance to soar. After the Su family left, Yang Wu once again went into seclusion. He did not go and find trouble with the Song family because of the martial art competition in 3 days. He wanted to become the martial arts champion first, and then settle accounts with those who hurt his father. This time, he went into seclusion to digest the sword intent seed and the nameless sword style. This was because he knew that the person who hurt his father in Guo understood the sword intent. Because of this, his father and Guo were not the opponent's opponent, even if they worked together. If he could digest the sword intent seed and cultivate the nameless sword style in a short period of time, he could use the sword intent to cut off the opponent's limelight and perform amazingly. He hoped that the people of Mount would not be blind and let him join Mount. That way, the Song family would not be a threat. The sword intent seed and nameless sword style were already imprinted in his Heaven's Court Dao flower. As long as he continued to meditate, he could activate them and absorb the sword intent's power to practice the terrifying sword move that could destroy stars. The sword intent seed was left by someone else. After Yang Wu imprinted it in his Heaven's Court Dao flower, it did not mean that he could activate it to 100%. It was impossible to use it to the extreme without practice, let alone practice it into a kind of sword principle. Before the Su family came, Yang Wu had already been in seclusion for 2 days. Then he went into seclusion for another 3 days, activating the sword intent and nameless sword style over and over again in his mind. His use of the sword intent and sword style was improving rapidly. The martial arts competition finally began. The martial arts competition was held every 3 years. The best batch of royal school disciples who were under 18 years old would be selected to go to Mount to practice. This batch of disciples had to at least reach the human general realm and be able to show a certain level of talent. They would be chosen by the people of Mount. The number of people was not fixed. There might be 10 or 1 or 200 people, depending on the overall talent of the royal school disciples. However, as long as they were in the top 10 of the martial art competition, they would definitely become outer disciples of Mauname. Those who had reached the martial arts level would even have a chance to become inner disciples. This time, there was a batch of good seedlings among the royal school disciples. There were a total of more than 30 people who had reached the human general realm. 7 of them had reached the middle-ranked human general realm. There were already a few seeded contestants who were the most popular. In addition to them, there were also disciples of the alchemy department and the weapon department who were specially recruited. These disciples would be selected after a comprehensive examination. Every palace martial arts competition was held in the Imperial Palace until the final martial arts champion was decided. This martial arts competition was even more lively than the martial arts competition held every 3 years. 8 fighting rings had already been set up in the Imperial Palace. There were a total of 350 royal school disciples and 150 young boys and girls who volunteered to participate. A total of 500 people were participating in this martial arts competition. The emperor, the civil and military officials, as well as the people from Mauname, were present to witness this martial arts competition. Early in the morning, there was already a hubbub of voices in front of the Forbidden Palace. The civil and military officials who rushed in, as well as the royal school disciples, all arrived one after another. The civil and military officials had already arrived at their viewing platform. They looked at the energetic young boys and girls and whispered to each other, "This time, I wonder how many children will walk into a higher world to pursue the path of the great Tao." According to the Academy this time, there are at least 30 to 50 children who could be selected. This is the most outstanding batch in recent years. This number is not small. In the previous batch, only a dozen children were selected. I wonder which family's #1 seed is from. Of course, it's Fong Chao, who is ranked first in the academy. This child came from an ordinary background, but his cultivation talent is quite impressive. I've long heard that he has already reached the high-level human general realm. I heard that His Highness the 5th Prince is also not bad. He has also reached the same level. Even if he is not the martial arts champion, he can at least be ranked in the top 3. On the highest viewing platform, the Emperor, the Empress, and the others were already in their seats. Beside them were Ji Lan Yu, Huan Junbo, Song Jing, Prince Fuan, Song Lue, Luo Gongming, and the others from the Amei Mountain. Other than the 3 from Amei Mountain, there was another person with a high status who could stand together with Ji Lan Yu. That person was the old pavilion master of Medicine King Hall, Yao Yanhai. This person looked to be in his 40s. His face was glowing, his eyes were bright, and he wore an alchemist robe. From time to time, there would be flashes of fire. His aura was like a furnace being burned by fire. It was very oppressive. Yao Yanhai was once a member of a transcendent force. For unknown reasons, he was sent back to the mortal world. He then took root into Xia and established the Medicine King Hall. With the rapid development of the past few decades, the Medicine King Hall had become a behemoth into Xia. It was enough to make the imperial family fear it. After Yao Yanhai broke through the heavenly fish realm and became a heavenly alchemist, his status became even more prominent. Recently, he had established a relationship with Ji Lan Yu. Perhaps he could even climb up the Amei Mountain, making the Medicine King Hall even more powerful. "Deacon Ji, what do you think of Midas Xia's children?" Yao Yanhai asked Ji Lan Yu like a master. It had to be said that this person was really arrogant and rude. Relying on his identity as a heavenly alchemist, he was already lawless. Ji Lan Yu smiled faintly and said, "Still SOSO. Compared to the other dynasties, we can be ranked in the lower middle." The emperor's face couldn't help but twitch. He felt that his face was ruthlessly slapped twice. It was very uncomfortable. Song Lirue opened his mouth and said, "Deacon Ji, you should take a good look. Our children this year are not bad. They should be able to reach the middle rank." Then he asked the emperor, "What does the emperor think?" The emperor narrowed his eyes and said confidently, "Our children are definitely in the upper middle rank, or even the upper rank." After he finished speaking, a young man riding a turtle came from the Forbidden City's gate. Chapter 396. The sun gradually rose, and rays of dazzling light shone on the Forbidden City. It was as if a dragon's aura was soaring and roaring, making it look noble and majestic. A youth riding a spirit turtle slowly came over. He was wearing a navy blue robe, and his hair was combed clean and smooth. His face was brimming with a brilliant smile, and his amber-like eyes were very charming. No matter which girl saw him, they would be deeply attracted to him. He definitely didn't look like a perfect man, but his temperament was like that of a banished immortal, ethereal and moving. Many youths present rushed through the Forbidden City's door on different spirit demons, but this youth was the most outstanding. The spirit demons of the other youths didn't dare to approach the turtle demon. They all opened up a path for the turtle demon, allowing it to slowly pass through first. Many young men and women looked at the young man who was riding the turtle demon with astonishment. They were all wondering where this youth came from. He was so domineering that everyone was opening a path for him. A girl in the crowd exclaimed, "He's the eldest senior brother of the alchemy department, Yang Wu." Yang Wu had defeated Cheng Xinran, Yao Yikai, and Niz with alchemy in the alchemy department, becoming the eldest senior brother of the alchemy department in one fell swoop. This was acknowledged by Deputy Dean Chun Zhao. Even if he didn't leave any other achievements in the alchemy department, it didn't stop others from remembering him deeply. He's at Yang Wu. It's said that he's the youngest heavenly alchemist in Great Xia. I wonder if it's true. Deputy Dean said it himself. It shouldn't be fake. Look at his demeanor. He's so handsome. I think he must be bragging. I don't believe he's a real heavenly alchemist. It's already very heaven-defying to be a medicine king. If he's an alchemist, is he here to observe the ceremony or participate in the hall martial competition? Yang Wu's hearing was very sharp. He heard the conversation between these youths. He wanted to say loudly, "I'm here to compete for the position of martial scholar." If he hadn't experienced the mountain prison and the army, he might have really said it. Now that he was much more mature, he naturally wouldn't be so childish. Just as Yang Wu was about to pass through the forbidden gate, someone called out to him, "Yang Wu." Yang Wu turned around and saw 3 young girls riding spirit demons towards him. The girl on the right was dressed in green. Her face was pretty, and her breasts were voluptuous. It felt like her clothes were about to burst out. She was riding a green horse. In the middle was a girl dressed in purple. A ball of faint purple flames floated around her body. She was riding a fire cloud tiger. The girl on the left was dressed in blue. She carried a long sword embedded with a sapphire on her back. She was riding a mighty blue lion. It was she who had greeted Yang Wu. Lin Qiqi, Niz, and Chao Fanny were 3 of the top 10 beauties in the royal school. Their arrival together added a beautiful scene to the scene. Before they could even get close to Yang Wu's mount, they revealed looks of fear and did not dare to move forward. The silver-patterned tortoise's demonic aura was too thick. How would low-level spirit demons dare to get close to it? Yang Wu turned around and looked at them. He nodded and smiled hello. He knew these 3 girls, but they weren't close. After greeting them, he continued forward. Chao Fanny was rather bold. She jumped down from her blue lion and walked towards Yang Wu, saying, "Yang Wu, can I ride in with you?" The once arrogant her lowered herself to get close to Yang Wu. It could be seen that Yang Wu was now very popular. Lin Qiqi and Niz didn't expect Chao Fanny, who had always had high standards, to do this. They were both stunned. Yang Wu smiled. "I'm sorry, we're not that close." After saying that, he urged the silver-patterned tortoise to speed up and rush through the forbidden gate. Chao Fanny watched as Yang Wu disappeared into the distance. She stomped her feet and said angrily, "Who cares? Is the girl in love?" Lin Qiqi rode over on her blue horse and asked, "Nonsense, I'm not interested in him." Chao Fanny said against her will. And Iz caught up from behind and said, "If it wasn't for the huge gap between us, I would also want to try to become his Tao companion." Her voice wasn't soft. The youths in the surroundings all heard her. They all had pained expressions. They really hoped that Niz's words were directed at them. The gap between them wasn't that big. That's right. The first time I saw him, he wasn't this powerful. In just half a year, he has grown to this level. He's a completely different kind of person. Lin Qiqi revealed a trace of defeat. She remembered that she was saved by Yang Wu in the swamp. At that time, Yang Wu had already displayed extraordinary strength, but it was far from being as unreachable as it was now. The hearts of the three young girls who yearned for love shrank back because of the great distance between them and Chu Li. They all knew that Yang Wu was not someone they could catch. When Yang Wu entered the venue of the martial arts assembly, many civil and military officials' eyes fell on him. As the youngest heavenly pharmacist in history, he had a halo around him. Everyone knew about him. Recently, because of the appearance of the people from Maunamei, they went to the Yang clan and caused a ruckus, pushing the Yang clan to the heart of the storm. Everyone was paying attention to what kind of response this Marquis Xiao Wu would have. As a result, this Marquis Xiao Wu holed up at home, which disappointed them. At the same time, they felt that it was reasonable. Maunamei was a daunting mountain. Who could provoke it? The one riding the tortoise is Yang Wu. Prince Fu said softly after seeing Yang Wu from afar. He didn't face anyone, but it was obvious that he was telling Ji Lanyu, Song Jing, Huan Junbo, and Yao Yanhai that only the four of them had not seen Yang Wu. Ji Lanyu, Song Jing, Huan Junbo, and Yao Yanhai's eyes all locked on Yang Wu at the same time. Yang Wu felt strange, so he looked towards the highest viewing platform. When he met those eyes, there was an invisible splash of light. The Xia Emperor, is he really a heavenly alchemist? Ji Lanyu asked the Emperor. The Emperor nodded his head and said, yes, he refined a furnace of heavenly Dan in front of us all and attracted a tribulation of heavenly thunder. There is no mistake about it. Very good. Our Maunamei has specially recruited him. Ji Lanyu said. Ji Darren is wise. The Emperor said with a faint smile on his face. Yao Yanhai faintly said, this old man has been practicing alchemy for hundreds of years and was lucky enough to become a heavenly alchemist. How can he become a heavenly alchemist at such a young age? It's best to let this old man verify it before making a conclusion. Yes, our Maunamei's alchemy brothers and sisters are all talented, but no one can become a heavenly alchemist at such a young age. I think this must be verified. Huan Junbo echoed. Luo Gongming said from the side. We witnessed it with our own eyes. How can it be false? Song Jing said. True gold is not afraid of fire. Yes, we all believe that Yang Wu is a heavenly alchemist, but Maunamei wants to recruit him. Let him show his strength. Prince Fu said again. Who doesn't know that Prince Fu and Yang Wu have a grudge? He certainly doesn't want Yang Wu to join Maunamei. Now, Prince Fu is undoubtedly stirring up trouble. True gold is not afraid of fire. But this time, Yang Wu also came to participate in the palace martial arts competition. Let's wait until the competition is over. The Emperor said with a smile. He was very clear about Yang Wu's strength. So why would he be afraid of these people playing tricks? Emperor, this is against the rules. He is a king of the Earth Sea realm. It's not fair for him to participate in these children's competition. Song Lirue said. Who said it's against the rules? He is an official disciple of our Imperial College. Chun Zhao, who has been silent for a long time, said. He represented the Imperial College to watch the competition. In addition to him, there were also some elders present, but they were not qualified to stand on the highest platform. That's also against the rules. This is unfair for the palace martial arts competition. Emperor, please investigate. Song Lirue, he said again. Prime Minister Song, you are too serious. Yang Wu is not yet 18 years old. If he joins our Imperial College, he is fully qualified to participate in the palace martial arts competition. Chen Zhao said with a smile while stroking his beard. After a pause, he added, a king under 18 years old, I believe Deacon Ji will take a fancy to him. Ji Lanyu smiled with satisfaction and said, very good. Your Xia kingdom has finally produced an amazing genius who can be compared with other top-notch emperors. No wonder you are confident that you can reach the upper middle level. Ji Lanyu is quite a fair person. She will not give up the opportunity to recruit talents because of personal grievances. This time, the faces of the people next to her were not good. Could it be that Yang Wu joining Maunamei was already a done deal? The next moment, Yang Wu did something that they did not expect. He made a disrespectful gesture of slitting his throat in the direction of the highest viewing platform. Presumptuous, you are going against the heavens. Prince Fuan screamed when he saw this action. Emperor, this child cannot be left alive. Song Lirue hurriedly said. The emperor wiped his cold sweat and said, Don't be agitated. This may just be a misunderstanding. He should be wiping his neck. Previously, he had told Yang Wu not to be righteous. Yang Wu actually did not listen, which made him feel embarrassed. Xiao Emperor, why are you protecting him? Just because he is a heavenly alchemist, you can be disrespectful? Huan Junbo narrowed his eyes and said faintly. He could feel that Yang Wu's action was directed at them. He must be killed. Song Jing had been staring at Yang Wu. Her eyes were shining with a strange light. If she remembered correctly, she had seen Yang Wu half a year ago. She also saw the silver-patterned turtle. She did not expect them to be in the same group. It was really a small world. At this time, Yang Wu touched his neck and said to himself, I am just scratching an itch. Why are you so nervous? Yang Wu's hearing was extraordinary. He could hear every word that was said on the highest platform. He deliberately said this to explain. Young master, there's a woman up there who looks familiar. The silver-patterned turtle said to Yang Wu. Of course, she looks familiar. Didn't you fight with her? I didn't expect her to be from Mount May. It seems you don't expect to join Mount May. Yang Wu sighed. At this time, a military official loudly announced, Everyone, the palace martial arts competition is about to begin. Dong Dong. Chapter 397. 8 arenas, 16 judges, and 36 drums rang out at the same time. The earth-shattering sounds shook the entire palace. The palace martial arts competition had officially begun. The grand competition this time was based on drawing lots. Whoever drew which opponent and which arena would be in would compete according to the order. Yang Wu's luck was pretty good. He was able to draw lot number 1 for the first arena. Holding the lot in his hand, he smiled and said to himself, Ha! This is the will of the heavens. Number 1 meant that the position of martial arts champion belonged to him. Just as Yang Wu was about to step onto the arena, he heard a familiar voice. Brother Yang Wu, you can do it. I have faith in you. Yang Wu turned around and saw Tang Xiaohan, who was dressed as a man, cheering for him in the crowd. Tang Xiaohan was originally a beauty. Even if she was dressed as a young man, it did not affect her beauty. Instead, it added a different kind of charm to her. Yang Wu smiled at her and said, The title of martial arts champion belongs to me. Yang Wu's words immediately aroused the competitive spirit of his opponent and all the spectating youths. One after another, they began to speak against Yang Wu. Such big words. He really doesn't know how to write the word death. Kick him down. He's too arrogant. How can the position of martial arts champion be so easily obtained? It's already been decided by Senior Brother Fong. No one can take it away. Did you hear those shouts? Get down yourself. Yang Wu's opponent crossed his arms in front of his chest and sneered. This was a young man who had reached the top of the warrior realm. Even if he had not broken through to the general realm, as long as he shone in the arena and had enough fighting power, he would be recognized by Mount May. Therefore, he had to win this battle. Yang Wu looked at his opponent and smiled. All right, then you can kick me out. Haha, watch me kick you down. The young man sneered and ran at full speed. Chi gathered on his feet, and he leaped into the air, kicking out an extremely fast shadow of a leg. His target was Yang Wu. This young man did not underestimate Yang Wu. This kind of opportunity was rare. He had to go all out against any opponent. Yang Wu did not dodge. The young man's kick landed heavily on his body. Bang! When everyone saw this scene, they all thought that Yang Wu would be kicked down by his opponent. However, the reality was different. The young man who kicked Yang Wu actually bounced out of the arena. At this moment, everyone's eyes were wide open. They were completely dumbfounded. Even the referee did not know what had happened. Until Yang Wu asked, Does this count as my win? Victory. Just like that, Yang Wu easily won the first round. The others couldn't understand what was going on. They felt that Yang Wu must have run into some dogshit luck. The youth who fell out of the battle ring understood the disparity between the two of them. Just as he kicked Yang Wu's body, there was a strong rebounding force that sent him out of the battle ring. He had lost this battle without any temper. What a boring, large competition. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. Indeed, with his strength, competing with these youths was a bit of a bully, but for the sake of the title of martial scholar in his heart, no matter how boring it was, he would persevere until the end. Very quickly, Yang Wu won 3 rounds in a row, all of them letting his opponent make the first move, and his opponent would inexplicably fly out of the arena, not even knowing how he lost. Yang Wu's identity was quickly exposed. The youngest heavenly alchemist, the Marquis of Shaowu, the youngest lieutenant general, had made great contributions at the border and had already reached the king realm. After the youths understood this, they were completely speechless. Was there even a need to compete? The young men and women all prayed that they would not meet such a perverted guy. Some of the youths were also protesting. Why would such a strong guy compete with them? It was against the rules. In the end, when Chen Zhao announced that Yang Wu was not even 18 years old, all of them started to shut up. According to Mount Amay's requirements, all youths under 18 years old were qualified to participate in the assessment. Yang Wu was still a youth, so he was qualified to participate in the large competition. Next, whenever they met Yang Wu's opponent, they would automatically admit defeat. Yang Wu's matches indeed became even more boring. There was nothing to play with. Thus, the judge simply gave Yang Wu a chance to advance. He did not need to challenge anyone in the arena anymore. He would decide after the top 50 were decided, so that some seeded contestants would not be eliminated if they met Yang Wu. Yang Wu had some peace and quiet, so he went to check on the other matches. He realized that Tang Xiaoan was also participating in the large competition. She was quite strong. Yang Wu could clearly see that Tang Xiaoan had already reached the advanced general realm, but he did not know how strong she was. Now, he could finally confirm that she was quite strong. This girl can be taught a lesson, but I already have a slug, Yang Wu sighed inwardly. Tang Xiaoan was very pretty and had a good personality. Any man would like her. Yang Wu also had some feelings for her, but he already had someone in his heart. He would not be tempted. Yang Wu walked through a few arenas and noticed 3 youths in succession. They were all quite strong. The first place was the eldest senior brother of the martial arts academy, called Fong Chao. This young man's appearance was not very outstanding, but his foundation was very solid. His cultivation level was very stable, and he had already broken through to the top-notch human general realm. Each of his moves and styles did not have too many flourishes, and he very cleanly defeated his opponent with a single move. The second was a young girl called Luo Jiejia. She was the second senior sister of the martial arts academy and also the granddaughter of General Luo Gongming. She had reached the advanced general realm, and her attacks were quite ruthless. None of her opponents could withstand a single blow. The third was Xing Daquan. He had reached the advanced general realm. He was a tall and strong young man. He had cultivated a powerful battle technique that was both offensive and defensive. He defeated all his opponents in one move. Other than these 3 youths, the 5th prince's battle prowess had also improved greatly. He should be able to secure 4th place. Lin Qiqi and Chao Fenny were slightly weaker, but it would not be a problem for them to enter the top 30 as long as they did not encounter stronger opponents. This time, the results of the arena competition could not be decided in one day. After the first day ended, nearly 200 youths had been eliminated. The remaining youths stayed in the palace to rest. They would continue the competition the next day. Tents had already been set up in the large plaza for these youths to meditate and rest. They did not have to worry about the competition the next day. The palace gave them food and healing pills, giving them a certain degree of support so that they could perform at their best. That night, Yang Wu also did not leave. He originally wanted to stay here with these young boys and girls for the night, but he was directly pulled by Tang Xiaoan to her courtyard. Yang Wu had no choice but to go with her. Tang Xiaoan was like a gentle wife. She had the servants arrange a bath for him and prepare good food for him. She even ate with him and looked at him eagerly, making him feel embarrassed. "Your Highness, it's not good for you to be so direct." Yang Wu's face was a little hot as he said, "Aha, so there are times when you feel embarrassed." Tang Xiaoan laughed. "Of course, any man would feel embarrassed to be looked at by a little beauty like you." Yang Wu replied, "At least you're not blind. But why don't you care?" Tang Xiaohan said with a resentful expression, "Oh, the night sky is not bad." Yang Wu raised his head to look at the night sky and said, this way of changing the topic seemed a little silly. The two of them sat on the roof and chatted. Unknowingly, the two of them were much closer. The princess had gently leaned on his shoulder. He wanted to push her away, but found that she was already sound asleep. He could only let her be. The night was a little cold, but it was nothing to a king like him. He was afraid that the princess would not be able to bear it, so he had to use some power to warm her up and not let her feel cold. Facing such a beauty, he could not be the first person in history to be able to remain calm. It could only be said that he was really pure. He looked at the starry sky and muttered in his heart, "Slug, are you okay?" The next day, the martial arts university continued as usual. After this day, the final 50 were finally decided. Chao Finney was very regretful that she was eliminated. She met an opponent who was one realm higher than her. Even though she gave it her all, she was still defeated. The moment she was defeated, she cried. She had always yearned for life in the transcendent world. She yearned to become a high and mighty king there, and then find a cultivator who was compatible with her. What a comfortable life that would be. Unfortunately, she was actually defeated outside of the top 50. Like this, her chances of joining Mount Amei became extremely slim. According to past practice, Mount Amei would only choose the most outstanding disciples who were ranked at the top. The others would almost never have a chance. No matter how unwilling Chao Finney was, she had to face this cruel reality. The third day was the time to decide the final ranking. This day's competition was different from the past. The 50 people entered the newly built largest arena, and the rankings were calculated according to the order in which they landed on the arena. This was the beginning of the battle royale. It would depend on who was the strongest. No matter how the competition was, it did not matter to Yang Wu. With his strength, the position of martial scholar was his. When Yang Wu stepped onto the arena, someone finally made things difficult for him. However, he did not directly attack Yang Wu. Instead, he scolded Yang Wu. "Yang Wu, can you be a little more thick-skinned? Your strength is already so strong, yet you still want to compete with us for the position of martial scholar. Do you think you can bully the weak just because you have a little bit of strength? If you still have any sense of shame, then get out of the arena yourself." This young man was quite courageous. He dared to criticize Yang Wu in public. His words resonated with a few people, and they all began to fire at Yang Wu. "Yes, Yang Wu, you should get out of the arena. With your strength, you can definitely enter Mount Amei. Don't come and compete with us for the ranking, okay? Bullying the weak like this is beneath your status. You've lost the demeanor of Marquis. Even if you beat us like this, what's the point of getting the position of martial scholar? When you join Mount Amei in the future, I'm afraid you'll be cursed as someone who only knows how to bully the weak and fear the strong. If you have the ability, then go challenge the top 10 kings of the dynasty." Chapter 398. The voices of these youths were not soft at all. The surrounding civil and military officials could all hear them. The group of elders on the highest viewing platform could also hear them. Some of the officials were indeed speaking out for these youths, because there were also their children among these youths. They really did not want their children's rankings to be affected because of Yang Wu. This was related to whether or not they could enter the transcendent world. No one wanted to be delayed. Yang Wu was a special existence. Not only did he occupy a spot, he would also seriously affect their rankings. It was easy for them to be pushed down. This was not something they wanted to see. If Yang Wu could voluntarily withdraw, Yang Wu could still join Mount Amei. He would only lose a glorious name. Giving others a chance was the best of both worlds. Yang Wu looked at the few people who had just spoken and laughed. "You make it sound like I'm an unpardonable sinner. Actually, I'm a person who is easy to talk to. If that's the case, you can go down." The first youth to speak spoke again. Just as the young man finished speaking, Yang Wu gently waved his hand, and a lightning-like power flashed past. The young man was whipped out of the ring on the spot. Everyone was shocked. The fight had not even started yet. Why did he attack? A youth exclaimed, "Referee, he broke the rules. We haven't started yet." You could have started the moment you walked up the stage. How could you have broken the rules? The referee was slightly speechless. Immediately after, the youth who had said that he broke the rules was sent out by Yang Wu. Yang Wu looked at the crowd and said faintly, "You were right just now. I'm a person who likes to bully the weak. If you're not convinced, come and beat me." Yang Wu's appearance was really asking for a beating. It stirred up the hot-blooded hearts of many youths. They could not help but attack Yang Wu. "Everyone, let's work together to chase him down first. I don't believe that he can cover the sky with one hand. This person is too hateful. We must work together to chase him off the stage first. Let's go. Since we've already reached our current ranking, there's no need to care so much. Let's take him down first." In an instant, more than 10 youths attacked Yang Wu with all their might. The weapons in their hands released a colorful light, and every profound energy contained a considerable amount of power, causing a considerable threat. Unfortunately, this bit of power was nothing in Yang Wu's eyes. Yang Wu didn't have the time to mess around with them. He laughed and said, "I didn't want to make a move, but you forced me. Then I'll have you all scram." Yang Wu walked around the ring, dodging all the attacks that were aimed at him. Those who attacked him did not even have the chance to resist before they were all thrown out of the ring by Yang Wu. Yang Wu was indeed an easy person to talk to. He didn't hurt these people. He just taught them a lesson. He let them fall and hurt for 10 days to half a month before they recovered. This was a completely one-sided battle. There was no entertainment value at all. The referee wanted to announce, "The martial champion is you. Don't fight anymore." More than 10 youths who attacked Yang Wu were thrown out of the ring, becoming the first batch of people to be eliminated. The other youths were glad that they didn't attack Yang Wu, so they could still stay on the battlefield. "I was forced." Yang Wu spread out his hands towards the other youths who were not thrown out of the ring. His innocent face made people feel that he deserved a beating. Many youths didn't dare to act rashly. They were afraid of provoking this fiend. Even the seated contestants didn't have the slightest intention of provoking him. As the eldest senior brother of the academy, Feng Chao still opened his mouth and said, "What do you want?" "I want to be the martial champion," Yang Wu said straightforwardly. Feng Chao wanted to refute and say no, but he didn't have the courage to say it. As the eldest senior brother of the academy, he had cultivated to the peak of the human warrior realm with great difficulty. He thought that the martial champion position was already his, but the sudden appearance of this Shawu Marquis shattered his dreams. He was very unwilling to accept this. Besides him, there were others who were also very unhappy. For example, Luo Jiejie and Xing Daquan were also very unhappy. At this moment, Tang Xiaoan stood out and suggested with a smile, "Why don't we all admit defeat and admit that you are the martial champion? Then you can leave the ring and fight for the other rankings for us. How about it?" It had to be said that Tang Xiaoan's suggestion was very good. Many people present began to be moved. Someone said no. As soon as he finished speaking, he was thrown out of the ring. He didn't even have the chance to struggle. That person fell to the ground and wanted to cry. In fact, he wanted to say, "You have to do it even if you can't." However, before he finished speaking, he was thrown out. He felt even more wronged than Do-yi. The fifth prince stood out and said, "I agree with this proposal." The fifth prince's prestige in the royal school was not low, and his words were immediately echoed by many people. In addition, because of Yang Wu's martial prowess, no one dared to resist. Even if they did not agree, they had no choice but to agree. In this way, all the participants in the ring were willing to admit defeat. The referees hurriedly discussed and reported to the emperor, letting the emperor decide the final result. The emperor, of course, nodded his head and said, "Since all of you have admitted defeat, Zhen will announce Yang Wu as this year's martial champion." When he made the final decision, Prince Fu and Prime Minister Song and the others beside him could not refute. They all looked at Ji Lanyu. She had no objection, so it was passed. Yang Wu is this year's martial champion. The other rankings will continue to fight. A eunuch announced. In this way, Yang Wu became the first person in history to win the title of martial champion without having to fight for it. Yang Wu raised his head and showed a satisfied smile, then murmured, "This time, My Yang family's martial champion and civil scholar are finally together. Yang Wu elegantly walked down the ring, leaving the others to compete for the other rankings. The next competition was a bit boring. The martial champion has come out, so who else is worth paying attention to? In the end, Feng Chao won the second place. The fifth prince won the third place. Xing Daquan won the fourth place. And Tang Xiaohan won the fifth place because Luo Jiejia was a woman. She suffered a loss in this kind of melee. She was eliminated early and only ranked 13th. After all the competitions ended, the coronation ceremony began. The coronation ceremony was very grand. All civil and military officials were present. 108 imperial guards lined up side by side. The sound of gongs, drums, and horns sounded. The whole atmosphere became solemn and extraordinary. The eunuch announced, "Yang Wu, Feng Chao, Tang Changchun, come forward and listen to the coronation ceremony." The top three were always the highlight, so the others could only envy them. Yang Wu stood in the middle with Feng Chao and Tang Changchun on his left and right. Together, they walked in the direction of the emperor. There were already eunuchs by the emperor's side waiting with military armor and yellow magua. After the three of them came up, the emperor would personally award them. The martial champion could directly become a deputy general, while the second and third place could only become a cavalry supervisor. Who knew how many enemies one had to kill on the battlefield and how many meritorious deeds one had to achieve in order to be promoted? Because Yang Wu was already a mid-ranked general, he naturally didn't need to be a deputy general. He only needed the 3 words, martial champion. The emperor personally put on the helmet for Yang Wu and said with satisfaction, "Congratulations, martial champion. Your Yang family has created a precedent by having 2 top scores. I want to confer the title of nobility to your Yang family for generations to come." The significance of this conferment was extraordinary. It meant that the Yang family would be nobility in Great Xia for generations and wouldn't be reduced to poverty because of decline. This was an extremely high conferment. Many great clans didn't receive this kind of treatment. Only the emperor's relatives had this kind of qualification. "Thank you, your majesty." Yang Wu bowed slightly in response. He didn't think much of this kind of glory, but it had extraordinary significance to the Yang family. He had one glory for the Yang family's ancestors. He believed that his parents would be happy and proud. He sighed in his heart. If only Yangwen was here. It was also at this time that someone couldn't help but cause trouble. "Martial champion, didn't I tell your family to come to the Song residence a few days ago to pay a visit to our Deacon Ji? Why didn't you come?" Huan Junbo suddenly asked Yang Wu, "Are you the one who injured my father?" Yang Wu looked at Huan Junbo and asked. This made the atmosphere a little tense. "He dares to look down on my Mauname. What harm is there in teaching him a lesson?" Huan Junbo met Yang Wu's gaze and said, not feeling the slightest bit of guilt for injuring him, "Junbo, don't say any more. He will probably become your junior brother soon. Harmony is the most important thing between fellow disciples. Let bygones be bygones." Jilan Yu didn't want the relationship between Yang Wu and Huan Junbo to become too tense and hurriedly tried to persuade him. "Deacon Ji, he hasn't even joined our sect yet, and he is already so rude. I feel that there's a need to wake him up. He can bully the weak in the mortal world, but he doesn't have the qualifications to do so in our sect." Huan Junbo replied. He then said to Yang Wu, "For someone like you who doesn't listen to the summons and has a history of being a sinful slave, I personally don't want you to join our Mauname. So what if you were the martial champion? There are so many geniuses from different countries. It's not like there aren't people like you who have reached the king realm at your age." Well said. A former prison slave is still a prison slave. The stain on his body is too heavy. He is not worthy of joining Mauname to avoid tainting the immortal aura. Yao Yanhai agreed. This time, the emperor and Ji Lanyu's expressions became ugly. Both of them hoped that Yang Wu would join Mauname. The former wanted Yang Wu to leave. With one less unruly person, his authority would be more stable. The latter wanted to take in such a peerless genius for the sect and didn't want anything to go wrong. Just as Ji Lanyu was about to open her mouth to stop Huan Junbo, Yang Wu looked up to the sky and laughed sinisterly. Ha! Is Mauname that great? Yang Wu disdained to join it. Chapter 399. Yang Wu, am disdainful to enter. What a domineering and arrogant words. Mauname was a force that protected the country. It was a giant force in the transcendent world. It was a holy land for cultivation, and the resources it possessed were astonishing. It was a holy land that all martial artists yearned to cultivate. Countless youths from the imperial dynasty chased after it and went crazy. Basically, no one would choose to give up after receiving an opportunity. Only those who didn't get the opportunity would suffer. Yang Wu's arrogant words in front of everyone really shocked everyone present. Yang Wu, don't be presumptuous. Quickly apologize to Amei Mountain. The emperor took the lead and reprimanded Yang Wu. Yang Wu, don't be impulsive. Luo Gongming also persuaded. Words are like spilled water. Prince Fu and hurriedly added a stab. Such a disrespectful person must be punished. Song Lerue said with a trace of sneer. Many people agreed with him and criticized Yang Wu for his arrogant words. Mauname was a force that was even more powerful than the imperial court. The imperial court was only a small part of Mauname. The imperial court still had to respect Mauname. As long as Mauname gave the order, the imperial court had to obey. Yang Wu's words were extremely disrespectful to Mauname. They were heaven-defying words. What a bold madman. Is this the kind of person your great Xia dynasty trained? Huan Junbo began to use this topic to question the current emperor. With his qualifications, he still couldn't speak to the emperor like this. It was truly overstepping the bounds of propriety. The emperor's face was also ugly. The plan he discussed with Yang Wu was not like this. Yang Wu, apologize and make amends. The emperor ordered again. Your Majesty, you have also seen it. It was them who went too far. Not only did they hurt my father, they even wanted to bite me. Today, I want to challenge you. I want to see if the people cultivated by Mauname are all unrivaled in the world. Yang Wuji pointed to Huan Junbo and shouted. Yang Wu's voice was heard by all the officials, and all of them revealed looks of shock. They had never imagined that something like this would happen. Fang Chao and Tang Chunsheng looked at Yang Wu with admiration. Their goal was to join Mauname. They had never thought that they would dare to challenge Mauname, let alone a disciple of Mauname. That was simply courting death. Haha, good, very good. I'll tell you how I injured your father. Huan Junbo laughed complacently. Junbo. Jilan Yu reprimanded Huan Junbo with a look of dissatisfaction. She was the one in charge this time. She had seen everything just now. Huan Junbo had crossed the line. Deacon Ji, he challenged me. I can't back down, and I can't lose face for Mauname, Huan Junbo replied. Jilan Yu said solemnly, I'll make the decision. Then she looked at Yang Wu and asked, Do you really not want to join Mauname? Do you know what this means? Yang was thoroughly disappointed in Mauname. Even if Jilan Yu wanted to recruit him, he had no interest. He replied, If you can hand over the culprit who injured my father to me, I can consider it. You prison slave, you still dare to be arrogant. Huan Junbo shouted angrily. At the same time, he released his aura to suppress Yang Wu. Yang Wu was like a towering mountain. He met Huan Junbo's gaze and shouted, As a son, filial piety is the most important thing. My father was injured by you. As his son, I must seek justice for him. Today, no one can stop me from challenging you. His words were sonorous and came from the bottom of his heart. Everyone who heard it was shaken. Filial piety was always the most important thing for parents to teach their children. However, many children only gave their parents headaches. Who would think of being filial to their parents, let alone fighting for their parents? Many officials were deeply moved. They were all experienced people. If their sons could be like Yang Wu, they would die without complaint. Deacon Ji, you heard it. Let me fight with him, and then you can make a fuss. How about it? Huan Junbo asked. Before Jilan Yu could reply, Yao Yanhai said, Deacon Ji, just let them go. Does a prison slave want to overturn the heavens? Let young Master Huan teach him a lesson and let him understand that the prestige of the country cannot be violated. Jilan Yu thought for a moment and said, All right, no matter who wins or loses, we cannot harm each other's lives. Her words were only for Huan Junbo to hear. She hoped that Huan Junbo would not kill Yang Wu. She still hoped to recruit a super genius like Yang Wu to join the sect. Don't worry, I will spare his dog life, Huan Junbo said. At this moment, Song Jing said faintly, Senior brother Huan, leave this battle to me. I still have some personal grudges with him to settle. Junior sister, let your senior brother do it, so as not to dirty your hands. What's more, he is challenging me, Huan Junbo said. Yang Wu calmly said, you two can fight together. I don't mind. After that, he no longer talked nonsense with the other side and rushed towards the ring. Sharp-tongued, stinking brat, I will definitely smash your mouth, Huan Junbo said sternly, then immediately rushed over in the air. The emperor helplessly looked at Ji Lanyu and said, Deacon Ji, how can we let them fight like this? Yang Wu is still young. As long as we discipline him a little, he will become a very outstanding genius. We cannot abandon him. Imperial brother, you are wrong. A person with bad intentions, no matter how talented he is, he will only be a big disaster. He even ignored your imperial edict. You can endure it, but we can't. Prince Fu and said from the side. Song Lirue also said, Yang Wu was a prison slave. His temperament must be very violent. He must be severely punished. Let them fight first, Ji Lanyu said in a deep voice. On the ring, Yang Wu and Huan Junbo stood together. The civil and military officials were in a heated discussion. This Yang Wu's courage is too big. He is not satisfied with being the martial arts champion. He actually wants to challenge a disciple of Mountame. This is simply courting death. Yang Wu has always been arrogant. He thinks too highly of himself. Let him suffer a little. Yang Wu's refusal to join Mountame will be the biggest mistake in his life. His Yang family is finished. It's a pity. It's not easy to become a heavenly alchemist. Even if he can escape death, I'm afraid his end will not be good. The civil and military officials were not optimistic about Yang Wu. They all felt that Yang Wu has been trampled to the bottom of the valley. His future will be bleak. Tang Xiaoan was incomparably worried. However, she could not help in this matter. She could only pray that nothing happened to Yang Wu. The royal schools, Chen Zhao sighed heavily in his heart. Too much strength is easy to break. Yang Wu still does not know how to compromise. Looks like he's going to suffer a great loss. I originally had no grudges with Mountame. In fact, I yearned for it. However, with villains like you in the way, even if I, Yang Wu, am helpless, I can't change anything. I can only take revenge for my father, Yang Wu said with a helpless expression. All the plans he had thought of were ruined by this kind of person. He no longer had any hope of joining Mountame. A lowly slave like you has the right to judge this young master. I'll kill you now. How arrogant was Huan Junbo? How could he allow Yang Wu to provoke him time and time again? He made his move after saying that. Green light blade. He was still standing in his original position. He raised his hand and slashed out a green blade ray that was 10 feet long. This blade ray was extremely domineering and fast. In the blink of an eye, it had already arrived in front of Yang Wu. It wanted to cut Yang Wu in half. This was just the power of a casual attack. It seemed like it only displayed the same range of Xian Qi as a general realm attack. However, its power was dozens of times stronger than that of a general realm attack. It was even more than 100 times stronger. The civil and military officials all knew that Yang Wu was a lieutenant general and had an astonishing battle record on the sand. However, they had not seen him in action with their own eyes. They all wanted to know how strong Yang Wu was and how much of a difference there was between him and the geniuses of Mountame. In their hearts, Yang Wu naturally could not be compared to the geniuses of Mountame. Yang Wu raised his fist and punched the blade ray. The blade ray was immediately shattered. He stared at Huan Junbo as if he was looking at his prey and said, "If this is all you have, then you've really disappointed me." Interesting. Let's see if you could take another move from me. Huan Junbo laughed disapprovingly. He waved his arms, and 2 green blade rays rushed toward Yang Wu like dragons and snakes. Huan Junbo's blade skills had already reached the acme of perfection. He could easily unleash a very powerful attack. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Huan Junbo was already in the high-level Earthsea realm and was not even 30 years old. As expected of a prodigy in the transcendent world, Yang Wu's eyes flickered. He saw these two attacks clearly. He waved his left and right hands. He did not release any Xian Qi and used the power of his bare fist to collide with the blade rays. Bang bang. The two blade rays were once again shattered. Yang Wu was no longer passive. He stomped his feet and rushed toward Huan Junbo like the wind. Those who hurt my father will die. Yang Wu's eyes were filled with anger. He had already suppressed his anger for many days. Now is the time to completely explode. The simple fist technique contained an incomparably domineering power. The energy in his dantian exploded like a flood. The blue fist ray mercilessly smashed toward Huan Junbo. Yang Wu's explosion was very sudden and fierce. Huan Junbo did not even have time to react before he was hit by Yang Wu. Huan Junbo's body flew backward. Yang Wu chased after him like a shadow. A round of fist rays continuously bombarded. Many blue fists were like raindrops that continuously enveloped Huan Junbo. Huan Junbo's reaction was very fast. After suffering the first blow, he had already entered a state of complete defense. Green wheels turned into armor. Many green Xian Qi turned into wheels, forming a thick king-level armor that blocked Yang Wu's stormy attacks. This green wheel armor was Huan Junbo's defensive battle technique. It could increase the defense of his king-level armor by 3 to 4 times. Even a top king-level expert would not be able to break it. Yang Wu did not care about this at all. His strength exploded again. The power of his fist climbed to a peak and solidly hit the green armor. Explode. Chapter 400. The sun was high in the sky. Inside the palace, the civil and military officials were watching the battle under the scorching sun. They did not feel the heat at all. Their attention was focused on the battle between the young kings in the arena. Huan Junbo was an inner disciple of Mauname. Moreover, he was one of the top 100 prodigies. His strength was definitely very high. This could be seen from the fact that he could seriously injure Yang Jinnan and Guofeixia. Everyone also thought that this would be a one-sided battle. Yang Wu would definitely not be Huan Junbo's opponent. Now, they were watching Huan Junbo being suppressed by Yang Wu. Their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Yang Wu's reputation was not wrong. However, compared to an inner disciple of a great power like Mauname, the difference was like heaven and earth. In their opinion, Yang Wu should be the passive party. However, the situation was reversed. This was beyond their imagination. Could it be that this Mauname disciple is a fake disciple? Everyone had this thought. As the deacon of Mauname, Ji Lanyu was very concerned about this battle. She wanted to see how strong Yang Wu's potential was. Now that Yang Wu's fighting strength was so strong, it made her even more anxious to recruit him into Mauname. Although Song Xiang, Yao Yanhai, and the others said a lot of bad things about Yang Wu, and even talked about the fact that Yang Wu was once a prison slave, Ji Lanyu was not a fool. She had her own judgment. When she saw Yang Wu for the first time, she felt that he had an innate, imposing manner, as if he was a natural-born genius. Standing in the crowd, he stood out from the crowd. This point was very similar to the top few heaven's prides in the sect. In addition, Yang Wu was able to avenge his father. Filial piety was the most important thing. So how bad could his character be? With her rich experience, she was sure that Yang Wu had a grudge with these people. That was why these people were trying their best to defame Yang Wu. This child must join my Mauname, Ji Lanyu said in her heart. Song Jing's eyes flashed with incomparable surprise. Half a year ago, she had a fight with Yang Wu. At that time, Yang Wu had not broken through to the Earthsea realm. In just half a year, not only did he break through to the Earthsea realm, but his fighting strength had also become so strong. Song Jing's killing intent became even stronger. I must kill him, otherwise my Song family will have endless troubles. Prince Fu and Song Xiang, Yao Yanhai, and the others killing intent. They did not want an enemy with infinite potential. Yang Wu's name. Huan Junbo naturally didn't expect Yang Wu's combat strength to be so abnormal. He was at the high level of the Earthsea realm, and could easily fight against an ordinary top-notch king warrior. Yang Wu's realm shouldn't be higher than his, so how could he explode with such powerful strength? Even his green wheel armor was destroyed. Huan Junbo's body was ravaged, but the injuries on his body couldn't compare to the loss of his face. "I'll kill you!" Huan Junbo looked up to the sky and roared. The azure wheel armor on his body condensed again. It became even thicker. A powerful blade intent burst out from his body. He turned into a green blade and forcibly shook off Yang Wu. This was the eruption of Huan Junbo's full strength, and it was not something that could be easily blocked. A cyan wool blade had already appeared in his hand, and he pointed the blade at Yang Wu as he faintly said, "I underestimated you. Next, you should properly enjoy my blade intent feast. I will cut you into 1,000 pieces." Huan Junbo took a deep breath and gathered all his profound qi on the azure wheel blade. A dazzling light burst out. In an instant, he slashed at Yang Wu. Azure wheel, 13 slashes. The overbearing azure wheel blade covered the sky and the earth as it slashed at Yang Wu. The turbulent power covered the entire stage. The heartstone of the stage was shattered. This terrifying destructive power was the power of a truly powerful king. Everyone was shocked when they saw this. They finally saw how powerful Huan Junbo was. "Senior brother Huan, good job." Song Jing could not help but exclaim. Ji Lanyu showed some admiration. Huan Junbo was arrogant, but his strength was indeed one of the best among the younger generation. The emperor and the civil and military officials had to admit that he was powerful. They were all waiting to see if Yang Wu had the ability to block it. In the face of these attacks, Yang Wu felt a bit of pressure, but it was not enough to make him flinch. He adjusted the power of his fist and blasted it out crazily. With the fist contained in it, the power was even more overbearing. Rumble, rumble. The two forces crazily clashed. The built stage was blasted into powder. Many stone fragments flew in all directions. The civil and military officials were so frightened that they cried out and retreated. A formation floated in the palace. It immediately enveloped the space where the two people were fighting. It isolated the two forces and at the same time prevented their power from spreading. Intent Realm was a realm beyond the 4 stages of move. Not everyone could comprehend it. Huan Junbo and Yang Wu both had their own Intent Realm. It was just a matter of whose combat power was stronger. Under the collision of the saber light and the fist force, the fighting strength of the two sides was actually equally matched. The azure wheel blade shattered. The azure wheel blade intent slashed at Yang Wu. The azure wheel blade intent slashed at Huan Junbo. None of them had the upper hand. This was definitely going to be an exciting battle between dragons and tigers. Everyone's eyes were glued to it. Huan Junbo's continuous attacks were not able to do anything to Yang Wu. He became angrier. He roared, "Azure Wheel Wolf Slash." This was a high-level king's technique. The azure wheel condensed into an azure wolf and roared at the bright moon. The power of the attack became stronger. The azure wheel blade intent was even more powerful. It was as if it wanted to shatter the world. This kind of shocking attack was the true battle strength that Huan Junbo should possess. "I'll let you see this lord's true combat power." Yang Wu stretched his body, and scales seemed to appear on his arms. The innate ability of the barbarian god's arms was displayed, and a barbarian bull vaguely appeared. It angrily rushed towards the cyan wolf. Barbarian bull fist. This was the barbarian bull technique that Yang Wu had obtained from the heavenly staircase. It was only now that he used it. Yang Wu did not have the brute strength of the barbarian tribe. However, with the barbarian god's arms, he could still display the power of the barbarian bull fist. That indomitable force instantly shattered Huan Junbo's azure wolf. Bang bang. The azure wolf was easily crushed. The barbarian bull still slammed into Huan Junbo's body. Huan Junbo's clothes were torn to pieces, revealing an azure silk robe. This was a top-level king's robe. Its defensive power was enough to block most of the power of Yang Wu's barbarian bull fist. This was why Huan Junbo was not killed on the spot. Pooh! Huan Junbo slammed into the edge of the formation. A mouthful of blood spurted from his mouth. Seeing this, the crowd could not help but burst into an uproar. This disciple of Mount was actually injured. Yang Wu is really powerful, as expected of the youngest lieutenant general. Being able to achieve outstanding military service at the border is not an undeserved reputation. Yes, this kind of genius is unparalleled in the world. If Mount misses this opportunity, it will be a great loss. How old is Yang Wu? His future is limitless. If he really can't join Mount this time, then the heavens will be jealous of his talent. Yang Wu's battle had won over a portion of the civil and military officials. Even Ji Lan Yu's gaze towards Yang Wu became more and more appreciative. Those who hated Yang Wu were even more hateful. They could not wait to tear Yang Wu into pieces. They could not let Yang Wu continue to grow like this. His potential was too terrifying. The emperor could not help but sigh in his heart. Fortunately, I did not completely fall out with this kid. Otherwise, I would feel uncomfortable. Tang Xiaohan lightly waved her fist and excitedly said to herself, "Brother Yang Wu is so powerful. Any girl worshipped the strong, and the princess was no exception." Fang Chao, Tang Chuncheng, and the rest of the imperial school's young boys and girls prostrated themselves in worship. They knew that Yang Wu's battle strength was astonishing, but they never thought that Yang Wu was so strong. It was completely beyond their imagination. After Yang Wu injured Huan Junbo with a punch, he did not relax. He rushed towards Huan Junbo with his wind god's legs and once again punched out with his barbaric bull fist. The tyrannical fist intent and thick brute force bombarded Huan Junbo wave after wave. How could Huan Junbo give up just like that? He was a prodigy who had killed his way out of many prodigies. His battle prowess was not limited to this, and the ultimate skills of Mount were also not limited to this. When Yang Wu attacked again, he had already taken nimble steps to dodge. Green crane shift. His figure was like a crane spreading its wings. In an instant, he flew to the side and narrowly avoided Yang Wu's new round of attacks. It was also at this moment that he used his trump card, Heaven-Splitting Slash, an incomplete heaven skill. Huan Junbo's entire body was shrouded in green, profound qi, and strands of profound qi crazily surged into the cyan wheel saber from his arm. The saber intent was not held back at all, and he slashed out an extremely terrifying saber strike towards Yang Wu. This blade was called Heaven-Splitting. It was meant to cut even the sky into pieces. Nothing could stop this sharp and terrifying blade technique. Yang Wu's pupils contracted. He could feel that the opponent's attack was already at the peak of the King realm. This kind of destructive power gave him a lot of pressure. He could still block it with the Savage Beast Fist. However, he hesitated for a moment and changed his attack method. He said softly in his heart, "I'll use you to train my sword intent." In the next moment, a crimson essence sword appeared in his hand. It was made from the crimson essence stone that Shui Gui had given him. As soon as this sword appeared, a demonic flame appeared on the sword's body. The nameless sword style that he had been meditating on for the past few days appeared in his mind. He activated the seed of sword intent. The sword followed the heart, and the intent moved with the sword. As soon as this sword appeared, a torrential sword intent swept out in all directions. Even the blade intent was suppressed by this sword intent. The clanging sword chi was like a meteor flashing by. The heaven-splitting slash was completely disintegrated. There was no comparison between the two. The sword technique was crushing the blade light. The palace's array was distorted by these forces. It felt as if the array could not stop these two forces from clashing. Victory and defeat would be decided in this move. Boom! Boom! Chapter 401. Nameless Sword Style. Only those who understand sword intent can use it. Yang Wu had obtained the sword intent twice and obtained the pure sword intent seed. He had always been meditating and cultivating, so he was already familiar with this move. This was the first time he used it in reality, and the power he unleashed shocked even himself. More than half of the power in his peach core dantian had been sucked away. The sword aura was awe-inspiring and could destroy stars. Huan Junbo had used his incomplete heaven skill and unleashed his strongest battle prowess. He could have easily killed any ordinary peak-tier king. Unfortunately, he had met Yang Wu, who was even stronger than him. His sword skill had been destroyed by Yang Wu's sword, and the sword intent had struck his body, piercing through his green armor. His body had many bloody holes, and blood was flowing out continuously. He was in extreme pain, and he felt a sense of despair and suffocation. He had no way to save himself, and the only path left for him was death. I don't want to die. Huan Junbo felt regret. He should not have provoked this evil star. At this time, Jilan Yu finally made her move. She turned into a wisp of gray smoke and broke into the formation of the Imperial Palace in an instant. A wave of power brushed past and completely nullified Yang Wu's powerful sword. Jilan Yu was a super strong heavenly fish realm master. Her strength was unfathomable. Otherwise, she would not be able to become the deacon of Mount Amei. All of this happened in a flash. When all the power dissipated, Jilan Yu had already appeared beside Huan Junbo and stabilized the injured Huan Junbo. Yang Wu still didn't know how his power had been neutralized. When he came back to his senses, he had already seen Jilan Yu in front of him. He withdrew his hand, not intending to continue fighting. He faintly said to Huan Junbo, "Consider yourself lucky. Next time, if you dare to provoke me again, I will definitely kill you." After that, Yang Wu put away his sword and prepared to leave the Imperial Palace. He had already offended Mount Amei. If he stayed, he would only make things difficult for the Emperor. In addition, he must go back and think about what to do next. Whether Mount Amei will give up or not was still unknown. Deacon Ji, kill him, kill him. How could Huan Junbo tolerate Yang Wu leaving like this? So he screamed at Jilan Yu again and again. They insulted the dignity of Amei Mountain. They deserve to be killed. Prince Fuan said with a stern voice. That's right, we can't let him leave. We have to keep him here. Song Xiang said anxiously. Being disrespectful to Mount Amei is equivalent to violating the laws of heaven. It's impossible for you to leave. Yao Yanhai said, as if he wanted to personally take down Yang Wu. The emperor clenched his fists tightly. He wanted to say something, but he couldn't. Mount Amei was too stressful for him. It was better to leave everything to Mount Amei. The atmosphere in the palace became extremely tense. Everyone's eyes fell on Yang Wu. Did he deserve to die? Jilan Yu shouted in a deep voice, "All of you shut up." Her Majesty was released at this moment, accompanied by a trace of heavenly might. This was the first time Prince Fu and Song Xiang and Yao Yanhai saw this deacon get angry, so no one dared to say anything. After everyone had quieted down, she spoke again. Yang Wu, you don't have to leave. I allow you to join Mount Amei. No, I object. Huan Junbo said agitatedly. Your objection is invalid. Jilan Yu mercilessly shouted. Then she said, Yang Wu will immediately become an inner disciple if he joins Mount Amei. Yang Wu, you still haven't thanked Deacon Ji. At this time, the emperor finally opened his mouth. His face was full of excitement. If Yang Wu joined Mount Amei and became an inner disciple, the imperial court would have a great face. He also lost the uncertain factor of Yang Wu. Everyone was happy, and he and Yang Wu had reached their goal. The civil and military officials showed a look of envy and jealousy. This time, the Yang family will really soar to the sky. Yang Wu turned his head and looked at Jilan Yu, then said, Thank you, Darren, for your love, but I refuse to join Mount Amei. What did you say? I allow you to say it again. Jilan Yu thought she heard wrong, so she frowned and said, I refuse to join Mount Amei. Yang Wu said, Yang Wu, I won't allow you to act on impulse. The emperor quickly dissuaded Yang Wu. Yang Wu replied, Your Majesty, Yang Wu believes that it is more practical to stay in Xia and serve your Majesty. These words made the emperor choke. He couldn't wait for Yang Wu to get lost. Jilan Yu said, I know you are angry, but you have to think clearly. Our Mount Amei is a national power and is also a top power in the transcendent world. We have abundant resources for you to cultivate. Whether it is martial arts or alchemy, Mount Amei can provide you with it. It is not impossible for you to become a saint in the future. Everyone was moved once again. The two words Holy Son were really too shocking. What was a saint? It was a title that only the strongest prodigy of Mauname had. In the future, he would definitely become a saint and become the pillar of Mauname. His status would be very honorable, and even the emperor of the imperial court would have to kneel down. Ji Lanyu's evaluation of Yang Wu was so high that no one expected it. Huan Junbo and Song Jing found it even harder to accept this fact. They were inner disciples, but the difference between them and a saint was like heaven and earth. There was no comparison at all. If Yang Wu really became their saint, how could they survive? Deacon Ji, I object. This kind of person who doesn't put our Mauname in his eyes must be killed without mercy, Huan Junbo said with a sinister expression. He then added, Deacon Ji, he almost killed me. My master will never agree to this kind of person joining our sect. Huan Junbo didn't hesitate to use his master to pressure Ji Lanyu. It was clear that he hated Yang Wu to the bone. Song Jing said, Deacon Ji, please reconsider. The two of them were inner sect disciples and had complicated relationships behind their backs, which was enough to make Ji Lanyu wary. However, their words made Ji Lanyu even angrier. She said, I have the final say here. You don't need to say anything. Huan Junbo and Song Jing didn't dare to say anything more. They were clear about Ji Lanyu's strength. They could only pray that Yang Wu would continue to refuse such a good thing. Yang Wu smiled and said, Thank you for your good intentions. I am a stubborn person. I will not take back my words. I, Yang Wu, will never enter Mauname in this life. These words were very straightforward and completely cut off all paths of retreat. Ji Lanyu said angrily, You don't know how to appreciate kindness. The power of the heavenly fish realm erupted from her body and enveloped Yang Wu. She wanted to teach Yang Wu a lesson so that he wouldn't know the strength of Mauname. Yang Wu felt a terrifying pressure attack him. It was the same feeling as when he climbed the heavenly stairway. It was as if a majestic mountain was pressing down on him, making him unable to move. Ji Lanyu's realm was much higher than Yang Wu's, but Yang Wu wasn't someone who would admit defeat easily. He mobilized all the strength in his body to resist, but to no avail. He gritted his teeth and shouted unwillingly, Don't force me. If you don't join Mauname, then die. Ji Lanyu said with killing intent. This kind of prodigy must join Mauname. If she let him go, he might become a member of another power in the future. That would be her biggest dereliction of duty, so she might as well destroy him if she couldn't get him. Those who opposed Yang Wu were delighted. They couldn't wait for Yang Wu to resist to the end. That way, Ji Lanyu could completely erase him. That would be perfect. Yang Wu, I order you not to be willful. Quickly agree to Deacon Ji's request, the Emperor said again. Yes, Marquis of the Celestial Master, don't be impulsive. Mauname is the best place for you to go. Chun Zhao also persuaded. Some people who had a good impression of Yang Wu also tried to persuade him. They couldn't bear to see Yang Wu be destroyed just like that. I won't join. Yang Wu opened his eyes wide and roared. No one could force him to do something he didn't want to do. Die! Ji Lanyu took a step forward and shouted. She raised a jade-like hand and prepared to kill Yang Wu on the spot. At this moment of imminent peril, someone let out a silvery laugh and said, Ji Lanyu, your Mauname is still so overbearing. You want to kill a young man who doesn't want to join your sect. You really deserve to be called the Extermination Branch. Ji Lanyu stopped killing Yang Wu and shouted in a direction, Sneaky scoundrel, come out quickly. Her voice was like a sudden clap of thunder, shaking the space. Everyone's eardrums hurt, and some people fainted on the spot. This was the wrath of the heavenly realm. The heavenly might could not be invaded. Outside the palace walls, two figures quietly came out. They were two beauties. One of them was Yang Karen. She had changed into a white dress and held a peep in her arms. She gave off an ethereal and otherworldly aura. She was different from her usual appearance in the Yang family. Now, she was undoubtedly more moving and beautiful. Beside her was a young woman who looked like a ripe peach. Her entire body was suffused with a rich and sensual scent. It was as if water could be squeezed out of her snow-white skin with a light touch. She had a foxy face and a deep cleavage in front of her chest. Any man who saw it would have a nosebleed violently. Ji Lanyu, who are you calling a scoundrel? The sexy young woman looked at Ji Lanyu and revealed a playful expression. Her voice was very pleasant to the ears, and it was so soft that all the officials felt like their bones were about to meld into a ball. This was a woman full of fatal temptation, and even young Karen couldn't steal her limelight. The emperor's eyes were about to pop out. He couldn't help but praise. What a beautiful person. When Ji Lanyu saw who it was, she raised her eyebrows and said, Sherwin Mei, why are you here? Hee, I know this is Mount Mei's territory, but don't forget what our 100-flower order does. Sherwin Mei let out a silvery laugh as she brought young Karen down from the city wall. When everyone heard 100-flower order, they were confused. However, Huan Junbo, Song Jing, and the others clearly knew that this was a superpower in the transcendent world, just like Mount Mei. With the addition of 100-flower order, the situation here became more complicated. Where did Yang Wu go? Chapter 402. The 100 Flowers Order, like Mount Mei, was one of the factions in the transcendent realm. They were both equally famous. The two factions had similarities and differences. The similarity was that they both specialized in recruiting outstanding female disciples, followed by male disciples. In other words, the status of female disciples was generally higher than male disciples. This had a lot to do with the history of their faction's development. The difference was that the former had many entertainment businesses in the mortal realm, such as gambling houses, restaurants, auction houses, and so on. They were involved in a wide range of businesses, and the disciples they recruited were not limited to one type. As long as they were suitable, they would choose them to join the church. The latter ruled over a territory and ruled over the resources of that territory, absorbing the geniuses of that territory to replenish their blood. The Drunken Immortal Tavern in Royal City belonged to the 100 Flowers Order. Yang Karen changed her name to Tianyin because she joined the 100 Flowers Order. Sherwin Mei was her master. Ji Lanyu faced Sherwin Mei and said, Your 100 Flowers Order can do whatever you want. How dare you interfere with our Mount Mei's business? Huh? How would I dare to interfere with Sister Ji's family matters? However, I saw that he was unwilling to join Mount Mei, so I wanted to invite him to join our 100 Flowers Order. We will also make him the Holy Son and nurture him with all our might. Sherwin Mei smiled. She then looked at Yang Wu and said, Little brother Yang Wu, what do you think? Karen is my disciple. If you join our 100 Flowers Order, other than enjoying all kinds of cultivation resources, there will be many senior and junior sisters who will like a handsome young man like you. Sherwin Mei's words were gentle and charming. No man could resist it, and all the officials were mesmerized. Yang Wu was a hot-blooded youth. When he saw such a stunningly beautiful woman, his blood couldn't help but boil. His whole body became hot and uncomfortable. Scenes of beautiful women coming out of the bath appeared in his mind. His figure quietly walked toward Sherwin Mei. Ji Lanyu snorted, Humph, a heart technique to confuse people. This is your 100 Flowers Order's ability. Ji Lanyu's voice contained a powerful sound wave that directly entered everyone's ears. It forcefully pulled everyone out of their daze, including Yang Wu. Yang Wu couldn't help retracting his gaze and sighing inwardly. Such a powerful, bewitching technique. I almost fell for it. What a sin. He circulated his Xian Qi and suppressed the heat in his body. The Dao flower in the divine court also entered a defensive state and could not fall for it again. What are you talking about, Big Sister Ji? Our Baiwa sect will accept someone that you don't want. This doesn't violate the agreement between both sides, does it? Sherwin Mei said coquettishly. She then asked Yang Wu, Little brother Yang Wu, why don't you join our 100 Flowers sect? This time, she only targeted Yang Wu. An invisible force once again attacked Yang Wu's divine court, trying to confuse Yang Wu into agreeing. Yang Karen had an expectant look on her face. She really wanted Yang Wu to join the 100 Flowers sect. That way, they could be together again. Yang Wu cultivated the Soul Control Sutra, so he had some understanding of soul attacks. This time, Sherwin Mei's bewitching technique was blocked by his divine court Dao flower. Yang Wu walked toward Shi and smiled. The name Hundred Flower Sect is a bit girly. I wonder if your Hundred Flower Sect is as strong as Mei? Haha, of course we aren't as strong as Mei here, but in the entire transcendent realm, our Hundred Flowers Sect won't lose to Mei. Shi said with her charming eyes. Yang Wu walked closer and closer. At the same time, he revealed an infatuated expression and said, "Are all the senior and junior sisters there as beautiful as you?" "Ahem, young master, she's my master." Young Karen quickly reminded him. "It's okay. Little brother's mouth is still very sweet. I'm already old. How can I compare to those young children?" Shi Mei revealed a shy expression. The emperor and the civil and military officials all felt that Shi Mei was lying through her teeth. If she was old, then wouldn't the other women be too ashamed to show their faces? Yang would already arrive beside Shi Mei and said, "Big sister is really modest. I like big sister's type. If big sister were to give herself to me, I would definitely join the Hundred Flowers sect." It had to be said that Yang Wu's guts were not ordinary. He dared to say such words in front of a heavenly fish rail powerhouse. Behind them, Tang Xiaohan's heart was filled with bitterness when she heard these words. She cursed in her heart. How is this princess worse than this vixen? Shi Mei looked at Yang Wu, who was in front of her. Her eyes moved a bit, and she lightly covered her chest and laughed. Little brother's ambition is really big. But since big sister likes it, then go with big sister. Big sister likes youths like you who have spirit. Yang Wu was slightly stunned. He thought that after hearing his provocative words, she would become angry out of humiliation and attack him. But instead, she took advantage of the situation, leaving him at a loss. How could Ji Lanyu tolerate Shi Mei's actions? She sternly said, "Shi Mei, don't play tricks. If he doesn't join Miami Mountain, then he will die." Ji Lanyu's domineering side was revealed. Even Huan Junbo couldn't help but shiver. He relied on his status as an inner disciple and had a master to rely on. He didn't respect Ji Lanyu enough. Now that he had woken up, he had to pay more attention to his words in the future to avoid unexpected misfortune. Shi Mei met Ji Lanyu's gaze and said, "He is already willing to return to the Hundred Flowers sect with me. I will take care of this matter. Big sister Ji, it's better if you don't kill him." Then I'll see if you can protect him first." Ji Lanyu coldly snorted and attacked Yang Wu. Ji Lanyu's power was very strong. Her palm was like a man-eating flower that swallowed Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't have the chance to react at all. His body flew backwards. How could Shi Mei let her have her way? When she let out a bell-like laugh, her delicate hand turned into lightning and pressed down on Yang Wu's shoulder, stopping Yang Wu's body in place. Yang Karen involuntarily said, "Master, don't hurt the young master. Don't worry. With me here, no one can hurt him." Shi Mei said calmly. "If I want to kill someone, can you stop me?" Ji Lanyu said and attacked again. The man-eating flower opened up like a crocodile's mouth, wanting to bite Yang Wu to death. Her other hand attacked Shi Mei. The aura she produced made Yang Wu feel extremely uncomfortable. Huan Junbo dragged his injured body and quickly retreated. Yang Karen also had no choice but to retreat. The Battle of the Heavenly Realm was not something ordinary people could participate in. Even a top king would be crushed to dust if they were careless. Shi Mei was determined to protect Yang Wu. She also reached out with her other hand. A sparkling palm print collided with Ji Lanyu's power. Pung! The two powers of the heavenly realm clashed, creating an earth-shattering sound. A powerful shockwave swept out, scaring the civil and military officials. They quickly ran as far away as possible. A eunuch appeared at the emperor's side in time and said, "Emperor, let's retreat first." This eunuch was not ordinary. He was a heavenly fish realm expert and was the emperor's personal guard. "No, I want to stay here and watch the battle of the heavenly realm." The emperor revealed a trace of greed as he spoke. His eyes were all on Shi Mei's body. He was already infatuated with her. The eunuch was helpless. He could only protect the emperor and prevent anything from happening to him. Many imperial guards gathered in the emperor's direction. Protecting the emperor was their primary duty. Yang Wu was the one who was affected the most. Fortunately, his body was strong enough. Otherwise, he would have been torn apart on the spot by the two strong winds. Shi Wenmei pulled Yang Wu behind her and said to Ji Lanyu, "Sister Ji, you can't do anything to me. Don't waste your time." Ji Lanyu did not respond. The power in her hands floated, and a mass of blue light condensed into a larger, man-eating flower. It enveloped Shi Wenmei. Shi Wenmei had to resist. She slapped out waves of sparkling light at the man-eating flower at the same time. The two forces exploded again. Under the impact of this power, Yang Wu's body was heavily thrown away. Pain spread throughout his body. Just as he was about to fall to the ground, he slapped his hands on the ground and swept in Yang Karen's direction. It had to be said that Yang Wu's physical strength was very strong. Not only could he withstand the residual power of two celestial fish realm masters, but he could also react. Even an ordinary top king couldn't do that. The celestial fish realm is really strong. I'm still far from it. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. In the blink of an eye, Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei continued to exchange blows. It was as if there was an earthquake nearby. It was shaking constantly, making people tremble in fear. This was the result of them restraining themselves. If they went all out, the palace courtyard would be completely destroyed. "Sister Karen, let's leave this place first." Yang Wu stepped forward and grabbed Yang Karen's hand. He was ready to take her away. "But Master, Yang Karen said. Before she could finish, she was interrupted by Yang Wu. "Your master is so powerful. Don't be afraid." Little brother Yang Wu, you really don't have a conscience." Shi Wenmei could still be distracted to hear Yang Wu's words. She laughed and said, "The more Shi Wenmei and Ji Lanyu fought, the angrier they became. The profound wings on their bodies appeared, and they fought from the ground to the sky. Boom, 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 boom." The sound of explosions was endless. A formation quickly appeared in the palace to protect the main hall from the impact. "Let's go." Yang Wu seized the opportunity to quickly leave with Yang Wu. How could the people of Maunamei allow him to leave like this? Song Jing shouted, "Your Majesty, why don't you quickly send someone to kill Yang Wu? He has disobeyed the holy will of our sect. His sin is unforgivable." The emperor knew that Yang Wu was not simple, and Maunamei was even more so. They could wipe out the imperial family with a single order and replace it with someone else. Just as he was about to give the order, Yao Yanhai rushed out and shouted, "Let me take this brat for your sect to deal with." Yao Yanhai had already broken through to the celestial fish realm. He had the confidence to take down Yang Wu. Would Yang Wu be captured and killed? Chapter 403. Yao Yanhai was the old pavilion master of the Medicine King Hall. Since he established the Medicine King Hall had become bigger and bigger. It was already able to threaten the majesty of the imperial family. It could be seen that he was a very ambitious and capable person. It was rumored that he was kicked out of the transcendent world, but no one knew if that was the case. However, he was able to break through the heavenly fish realm with his own ability and become a heavenly alchemist. It was enough to show that his talent was quite good. He had been in the heavenly fish realm for some time, but he had not made a move. Instead, he stayed in the seclusion room to cultivate. Today was the first time he made a move. He turned into a ball of flame and stepped into the air. Before he opened his profound wings, he had already arrived above Yang Wu. He did not say a single word to Yang Wu. He immediately sent out a 20 feet long flame towards Yang Wu. It was as if a sea of fire had fallen. He wanted to completely obliterate Yang Wu and Yang Karen. "Yang Wu, be careful." The people who cared about Yang Wu had their hearts in their throats. They were afraid that the fire palm would obliterate Yang Wu on the spot. At the critical moment, Yang Wu reacted. He pushed Yang Karen away and faced the palm alone with a punch. "Eldest young master," Yang Karen exclaimed. Bang! The power of Yao Yanhai's palm was so overbearing that even if Yang Wu responded, he was still slapped into the ground on the spot. A deep pit appeared on the ground. Everyone had the same thought. Yang Wu is finished. No one thought that Yang Wu could block the power of a heavenly fish realm expert. Prince Fu and Song Xiang, Huan Junbo, and the others all revealed a smug sneer. Their mood instantly calmed down. "Big brother Yongwu," Tang Xiaohan exclaimed sadly from the back. Tears flowed down her face. Yang Karen bit her lips. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. She cried out, "Eldest young master! Hey, who dares to provoke my Medicine King Hall? This is the end." Yao Yinhai let out a sneer. When the surrounding people heard Yao Yinhai's words, they felt a chill in their hearts. In the future, they would have to be even more respectful towards the Medicine King Pavilion. It was also at this time that a fist aura rushed out from the deep pit in the ground. It was a fist energy in the shape of a horse demon. The horse demon was howling and galloping like lightning. It was astonishingly fast. Barbarian horse fist. Yao Yinhai reacted quickly. He wrinkled his old eyes and muttered to himself, "Still not dead." A heavenly scale armor appeared on his body. It was a battle armor unique to heavenly fish realm elites. The scales of the armor were like fish scales, and its defensive power was many times stronger than a king armor. Yao Yinhai did not dodge. He wanted to see how strong Yongwu was and whether or not he could break his heavenly scale armor. Bang! The power of the barbarian horse fist landed on Yao Yinhai's heavenly scale armor. Yao Yinhai's body did not move back half a step, but the heavenly scale armor started to crack. The crack was very small, and only Yao Yinhai himself could sense it. Such strong power. Is this brat already a peak king realm? Yao Yinhai wondered in his heart. "Old man, I'll kill you." Yongwu jumped out from the deep pit and roared at Yao Yinhai with a face full of anger. Yongwu looked at Yao Yinhai's appearance and guessed that he might be Yao Lingyu's father. The two of them had some similarities. The other party had already claimed to be from the Medicine King Pavilion, so he was an enemy. Yongwu decided to fight first. Just now, he did not have enough fun fighting Huan Junbo. Now, he wanted to challenge a heavenly fish realm elite and see if he had the ability to do so. Yongwu did as he said. He mobilized the energy in his dantian. After circulating his celestial qi for a few cycles, the damage from the previous attack was mostly healed. He even used the barbarian horse fist to attack crazily. The true meaning of the barbarian horse fist was fast and fierce. Yongwu had already comprehended it and branded it in the god's court Dao flower. He only needed to use it to his heart's content. He was not worried that others would see that it was the barbarian horse fist. Anyone who saw it would know that he was not a barbarian. He used the power of the barbarian god's arm to activate it. There were some differences between it and true brute force. However, the strength was still abnormal. Every punch was enough to kill a peak king realm. Yao Yinhai allowed Yongwu to punch, but he did not dare to casually let Yongwu hit him. He repeatedly waved his hands to block, disintegrating Yongwu's barbarian horse fist. He did not let Yongwu's attacks land on his body. When everyone saw that Yongwu dared to challenge Yao Yinhai, they could not help but give him a thumbs up in their hearts. They all exclaimed, "A peerless genius." Other than these few words, they did not know how to describe Yongwu. How could he be so strong? Huan Junbo stared at Yongwu and said unwillingly, "In their Erame Mountain, only the top 50 young geniuses had the ability to challenge a heavenly fish realm expert. However, among the top 50 young geniuses, not many were as young as Yongwu. You're just a firefly. If you continue to struggle, you'll die." Yao Yinhai felt that Yongwu's strength was getting stronger and stronger. His killing intent was getting stronger and stronger. He waved his fire palm again and slapped towards Yongwu. Flame Sea Palm. This was Yao Yinhai's unique King Realm technique. It was his famous palm technique. It blasted out a palm print that was like a sea of fire, using the fire to burn the enemy. After Yao Yinhai reached the heavenly fish realm, the power of the flame sea palm was even more terrifying. When he slapped out, waves of fire surged, enveloping everything within a 1-mile radius. Generally speaking, when a king of the Earthsea realm was targeted by a heavenly fish realm expert, there was no way for him to survive. However, Yongwu was indeed a peerless genius who had awakened his talent channel. His divine court Dao flower's reaction was extremely fast. His eyesight and hearing were extraordinary. When the palm was about to hit him, he had already reacted and changed his fist into the most ferocious barbaric dragon fist. When the barbaric dragon appeared, it was as if heaven and earth were collapsing. The power of the fist was definitely the most ferocious attack of the barbaric fist. This time, Yang Wu not only activated his fist intent, but also his battle blood. It could be said that he was going all out. He was even more powerful than when he fought Huan Junbo. The power in his energy center was surging. The number of title stacks instantly broke through to 70, not far from 81. Fighting was always the best way to improve one's realm. Yang Wu hadn't fought to his heart's content for a while. This was a good opportunity. When Yang Wu burst out with this attack, he turned into a barbaric dragon. His terrifying power soared crazily. Wave after wave of fist energy collided with the flame sea palm. When Yang Wu obtained the barbaric dragon fist, he had already obtained the fist intent contained in it. The realm of his fist intent had been improved, and it was far more powerful than when he fought Huan Junbo. The barbaric dragon broke through the sea of flames. Waves of shocking explosions rang out nonstop. The ground around them kept cracking, and many stone fragments splashed out. The destructive power was astonishing. The heaven-level formation in the palace kept flowing. It was as if it was supported by the dragon Qi to protect the entire palace. Otherwise, with such destructive power, the palace would have been destroyed. Yao Yanhai was shocked. His flame sea palm was actually unable to suppress Yang Wu. Although he still had a slight advantage, the advantage was not big. Yang Wu had completely withstood his attack. He couldn't accept such a result. Impossible. I'm in the heavenly fish realm. How could I be blocked by a little king? Yao Yanhai secretly snorted and shouted, I'll let you see the true power of the heavenly fish realm. The heavenly fish realm was the condensed form of a fish in the Earth Sea. When the fish was alive, it meant that the power of the martial body was also alive. They had the ability that even kings didn't have. They could control the power of heaven and earth and increase their fighting power. The primary heavenly fish realm could use the Xian Qi of heaven and earth within 2 miles. The intermediate heavenly fish realm could use the Xian Qi of heaven and earth within 4 miles, and so on. Kings could only use their own power. The heavenly fish realm could use the power of the outside world to increase their fighting power. This was the difference between the two. Yao Yanhai began to display the fighting power of the heavenly fish realm. He quickly mobilized the power of heaven and earth within 1 mile and condensed it into his own power. He attacked Yang Wu once again. Sea of fire, steaming river. Yao Yanhai no longer gave Yang Wu any chance. He had already used 80% of his fighting power to completely obliterate Yang Wu. The raging fire was burning towards Yang Wu from all directions. This power was strong enough to burn the land within a radius of 1 mile into ashes. Yang Wu felt that his body was bound by the power, and the power he used was suppressed. He was in a predicament and was about to be burned to ashes by this fire. Yang Wu was hit by this palm power and vomited blood. Many flames burned his body. This was real fire, which could only be condensed by the heavenly fish realm. It was not virtual fire. Ah! Yang Wu screamed. People in the distance felt their hair stand on end. They thought that this time, Yang Wu was bound to die. Master, come and save the young master. Yang Karen shouted to the sky. Unfortunately, Shi Wenmei and Ji Lanyu were fighting somewhere and did not hear her voice at all. Haha, those below the heavenly fish realm are just ordinary people. Yao Yanhai was extremely proud of his power and could not help but laugh wildly. It was also at this moment that a blue flame appeared. The burning red flame seemed to have met its nemesis, and its firepower rapidly shrank. The blue flame swallowed them all, and wherever it went, the red flame dissipated into nothingness. Such a shocking scene scared Yao Yanhai and the others silly. Fire eating fire? It was the first time they had seen such a strange thing. Yao Yanhai seemed to think of something. He frowned, and his old eyes flashed with a complicated look. He attacked again, wanting to completely eliminate all future troubles. I can play with fire too. Yang Wu's voice sounded again. A finger light burst out instantly. Volcano finger. The power of his finger condensed the heart fire blue enchantress. All the power in his dantian and the fighting power of his blood boiling were used. He was going all out. Boom, boom. Chapter 404. The volcano finger had reached 9 layers and reached the perfect stage. Its explosive power was comparable to a volcanic eruption. The destructive power it caused was truly terrifying. Blue Yao Ji unleashed the potential of an immortal flame. It swallowed Yao Yinhai's flames to strengthen itself. Yang Wu's ice blade wings needed to replenish his kidney power. His heart flame needed to increase his heart's blood and fire. Yao Yinhai condensed true flames, so his heart flame could swallow it. The moment the volcano finger exploded, Yao Yinhai's suppression on Yang Wu disappeared. He had no choice but to use all his strength to suppress Yang Wu's attack because he felt threatened. He acted as if he was refining pills. Many flames wanted to refine Yang Wu on the spot. Yang Wu wasn't that easy to deal with. Blue Yao Ji just happened to be able to restrain this kind of ordinary flame. It was the king of flames. Ordinary flames were affected by it, and their power quickly decreased. However, this didn't mean that Yao Yinhai's attack was completely weakened. That attack still contained an extremely powerful Xian Qi that wiped out the power of Yang Wu's volcano finger. Under wave after wave of attacks, the array in the palace kept shaking and twisting. It looked like it could collapse at any time. Above the clouds, Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei stopped fighting. They weren't truly fighting to the death. They were both looking down. Ji Lanyu looked at the battle below and said with certainty, Shi Wenmei, he won't give up to your 100 Flowers sect. You should give up. Sister Ji, why are you so stubborn? How about I give you a heaven pill? Shi Wenmei said with a hint of unwillingness. She originally thought that she could gain some advantage in the battle with Ji Lanyu, but Ji Lanyu's trump card made her very afraid. She had to stop and negotiate. Before they could talk properly, Yao Yinhai and Yang Wu's battle attracted their attention. Yang Wu was only in the intermediate Earthsea realm, but he actually had the ability to challenge a heavenly fish realm cultivator. They hoped to pull Yang Wu into their sect. A heavenly pill in exchange for a young heavenly alchemist, this business really knows how to do. Ji Lanyu sneered. Right now, Yang Wu had already given up on joining Mount Mei. Ji Lanyu was extremely angry with Song Jing and Huan Junbo in her heart. If not for them, her Mount Mei would definitely be able to accept Yang Wu. That way, her sect would have one more candidate for the Holy Sun. If news of this spread back to the sect, it would be her dereliction of duty. She was thinking that if Yang Wu still did not know what was good for him, she would first tie him up and bring him back to the sect. It seems that Sister Ji doesn't intend to give in. Shi Wenmei said disappointedly. Yes, I plan to bring him back first. Ji Lanyu replied softly. Then she added, don't mess up this matter anymore. Otherwise, it will affect the relationship between our two factions. Then, elder sister, you have to give us some compensation. Shi Wenmei revealed a lovely expression as she spoke. I know what I'm doing, Ji Lanyu replied. Below, the battle between Yang Wu and Yao Yinhai had already come to an end. Yang Wu's volcano finger exploded and broke through Yao Yinhai's fire palm. It directly exploded onto Yao Yinhai's heavenly scale armor, piercing through it and opening a bloody hole on his body. Blue Demonist's firepower almost burned his body. Yang Wu was not in a good state either. He was once again smashed into the ground. His entire body was covered in blood, and several of his bones were broken. He looked extremely miserable. However, his vitality was still quite tenacious. After he pushed himself to the limit, the Earth-Ocean tide in his dantian reached 77 folds. It almost allowed him to break through to the high-level Earth-Ocean realm. Is this how I break through? Yang Wu asked himself as he laid on the ground. Yao Yinhai's attack was not able to kill him because he had withstood the heavenly pill thunder calamity. The strength of the two was similar. No, it should be said that Yao Yinhai's attack was weaker. Yao Yinhai was an alchemist. Many of his realms were raised through alchemy. Even though he had reached the heavenly fish realm, his combat power was still the most ordinary existence in the heavenly fish realm. Yang Wu could barely withstand his attack. If it was any other heavenly fish realm elite, Yang Wu might not have had it so easy. After Yao Yanhai avoided Blue Demoness' burning power, he wiped off a trace of cold sweat. He thought to himself, what kind of fire seed is this? It gives me a great sense of threat. I have to get it to fill the gap of my lack of a good fire seed. It turned out that he had already given his fire seed to his son. After reaching the heavenly fish realm, he could already condense primordial fire, or he could find a matching high-level fire seed that was more suitable for his realm. Thinking of this, his eyes became more and more scorching. After swallowing an elixir, he rushed toward Yang Wu, wanting to take away Yang Wu's fire seed. Yang Wu lay on the ground. His injuries were recovering. At the same time, the tidal force kept surging in his dantian. The Supreme Nine Mysteries formula was running crazily, absorbing the water Xian-Qi under the ground. He had to break through to have a chance of winning. Yang Wu's divine court Dao flower was flashing. He sensed everything here, but he still had to divert his attention to guard against Yao Yanhai's counterattack. Yao Yanhai stepped down in the air. A powerful fire foot stepped on Yang Wu's lower abdomen. If his foot landed, it would be difficult for Yang Wu not to die. The people around watched Yao Yanhai kill Yang Wu on the spot. Their thoughts were extremely complicated, especially Tang Xiaohan. She wanted to rush over and fight Yao Yanhai. However, her strength was limited. She couldn't do anything at all. At this moment, she really realized how important it was to have powerful strength. She bit her lips until they bled. She hated herself for being useless. She also made up her mind. As long as Yang Wu didn't die, she would cultivate well in the future and strive to be a strong woman. There are many people who want to kill me, but in the end, only they will die. Yang Wu roared to the sky. The Tao of death in his divine court completely erupted. The surroundings were filled with the smell of death. A terrifying willpower swept towards Yao Yanhai. Every drop of potential in Yang Wu's body was squeezed out. He activated his ice blade wings. He wanted to kill Yao Yanhai. Yang Wu didn't even know how terrifying his own talent was. Under the influence of the Tao of death, Yao Yanhai's divine court was impacted. The smell of death wasn't pleasant. It made him relive the suffocating scene when he faced death in the past. His old face showed some fear. His own attack was rapidly shrinking. At the same time, Yang Wu's invisible ice blade palace turned into a sharp blade and slashed at his vital points. It had to be said that the experts of the heavenly fish realm were very powerful. Their reactions were very sharp. They could react in advance if there was something wrong. Yao Yanhai was affected by the Tao of death, but he still used his power to stabilize his divine court. His figure quickly retreated. He activated his heavenly scale armor and was fully prepared. When the ice blade wings streaked past like a meteor, Yao Yanhai couldn't see its existence at all. He only felt a trace of coldness and instinctively dodged. His old face was scratched, and there was even an ice crystal on his face. It made him feel very uncomfortable. Fortunately, he dodged quickly. If he was a little slower, his head would have been cut off. "What are you? Get lost!" Yao Yanhai shouted. He mobilized the power of heaven and earth to seal the area. The flames continued to burn. There was no power that could be invisible around him. The ice blade wings came into contact with his firepower and continued to attack Yao Yanhai. The flames were cut, the heavenly scale armor was cut, and Yao Yanhai's abdomen was cut. Blood spurted out, and his intestines could be vaguely seen. Yao Yanhai was anxious now. His heavenly scale armor's defense was very strong, but this formless thing was actually able to break through it. This made him feel uncertain. He continued to attack, wanting to shatter this formless attack. The ice blade wings were controlled by Yang Wu as he wished. It constantly changed directions to attack him, making it impossible to guard against. The people watching from afar were stunned. They couldn't figure out what was dealing with Yao Yanhai, but they all felt that it had something to do with Yang Wu. At present, regardless of whether they were friendly or hostile to Yang Wu, they all felt some respect for him. With just a mid-level Earth-Sea realm, he was able to fight with a heavenly fish realm expert. What kind of great achievement was this? Yang Wu divided his attention. On one hand, he was restraining Yao Yanhai. On the other hand, he was seizing the time to recover from his injuries and break through to the high-level Earth-Sea realm. "Everyone, refine for me," Yang Wu shouted in his heart. The regal Nine Mysteries formula crazily absorbed the water Xianqi. His body was like a compressor. After the energy entered his dantian, he kept suppressing it. He wanted to reach the limit before breaking through. Earth-Sea Tide, 78 layers. Earth-Sea Tide, 79 layers. Earth-Sea Tide, 80 layers. In Yang Wu's dantian, after a lot of Xianqi gathered, the layers were higher and higher. The surging momentum was spectacular. He only needed one more layer to reach the limit. However, this last layer was the most difficult. No matter how hard Yang Wu tried, he couldn't reach it. He was extremely anxious. "Stack it up." High up in the sky, Yao Yanhai calmed down. He caught a trace of movement from the ice blade wings. He took out a flame blade and continuously slashed it. He didn't show any mercy. No matter what it was, he wanted to cut it into pieces. Under the violent slashes of the blade, the ice blade wings were cut. The ice blade wings were a part of Yang Wu's body. After it was injured, it was like Yang Wu was injured. His body couldn't help but convulse. The power that he had accumulated with great difficulty almost collapsed. After Yao Yanhai removed the thread, he revealed a stern expression. He raised the flame blade and slashed it towards Yang Wu. He shouted, "Today, even if a god comes, he won't be able to save you." The blade frantically enveloped Yang Wu. It had the power to split a mountain. Even the array in the palace was affected. There was a faint crack. It could be seen that Yao Yanhai wanted to kill Yang Wu. "Are you going to ask for help?" Yang Wu was lying on the ground. He looked at the descending attack and felt a little powerless. "No, I am a man who will become a god of war. I can still fight. Stack it up for me." Bang. Chapter 405. Yang Wu possessed an indomitable spirit, which was also the key to him being able to endure the toughest days in the prison. Later on, after experiencing many hardships, he grew to this stage. Now, facing Yao Yanhai's fatal strike, he still had a backup plan, but he didn't want to use it yet. He wanted to take advantage of this moment to break through the final limit. The moment he roared, he stood up and urged the supreme Nine Mysteries formula to the extreme. The dragon tortoise water suppression stance once again displayed its miraculous effect, sucking up the water from ground. The essence blood of the tortoise and flood dragon contained in his bloodline boiled. The tortoise and flood dragon's shape appeared behind him. His arms began to wave, and the power in his body was squeezed out. The majestic power seemed to be able to turn the world over as it collided with Yao Yanhai's flaming blade. Boom! Boom! There was another fierce collision sound, and the surrounding formation showed signs of cracking. It was enough to show how terrifying the battle power was. The people watching from afar were moved. It was the first time they had seen such a fierce battle. This was already beyond their imagination. Even if Yang Wu died in battle, he was still worthy of respect. They couldn't help but lament in their hearts that he had died so young. Yao Yanhai didn't hold back. As a celestial fish realm expert, his power was very terrifying. He chopped the tortoise and flood dragon into pieces on the spot. Many blade moves fell madly towards Yang Wu's position. The moment these blade lights poured down, Yang Wu finally touched the 81 layers of tides, forming a sea. Sea of celestial chi, sea tide blue waves, sea eye, and sea rising moon were the 4 different stages of the Earth-Sea realm. After condensing a sea eye, it meant that Yang Wu had stepped into the advanced Earth-Sea realm. Forcing a limit breakthrough in such a dangerous environment was definitely an extremely risky act. However, if he didn't break through in such an environment, it would undoubtedly be much more difficult for Yang Wu to complete the 81 layers of tides. No matter who broke through the realm, they would need to absorb a lot of power to supplement the needs of the realm. Many people would choose to break through in seclusion in a place with rich celestial chi of heaven and earth. In this case, Yang Wu didn't have time to absorb power. It was already good enough that he had to think of a way to save himself first. When Yang Wu condensed the sea eye, the soul eye in the divine court seemed to have sensed it. The power of the soul I combined with the power of the peach core Dantian. His body seemed to be connected to some kind of bridge power. The peach core Dantian's 1,000 holes spewed out a wisp of misty pure power. This wisp of power was the original power of the peach core itself. Yang Wu had also absorbed a wisp of power of the same origin when he was on the heavenly ladder. According to Little Hay, this was a wisp of divine qi. When the divine qi was completely absorbed by the bridge of the soul eye, the primordial mysterious essence qi and the frost spring mysterious essence qi, which had been refined by Yang Wu, were further integrated into the wisp of divine qi, replenishing the power of the divine qi. The missing power in the peach core Dantian was filled on the spot. The sea eye gradually shone, and the soul eye flashed with amazing power. The soul eye opened. The space between Yang Wu's eyebrows split open, and the soul eye appeared. A ray of soul light angrily shot out. It passed through the power of the blade light and directly fell between Yao Yinhai's eyebrows. It penetrated and fell into his divine court. Yao Yinhai's soul and body had a feeling of separation. His body instantly froze. The soul eye was taken away. This was the innate magical power of the soul eye, and it seemed to be a little different. Without Yao Yinhai's control, the power of the blade light was sharply reduced. Yang Wu took advantage of the critical juncture of the breakthrough, and the crimson essence sword appeared in his hand. He gathered enough strength to use the nameless sword again to block the power of this wave of attack. The blade light was cold, and the sword's power clanged. Under the crisscrossing of the blade light and sword shadow, many forces were constantly splashing and exploding. The stone chips below the arena turned into powder, and the formation was torn apart again. It forced the people guarding the formation in the palace to reinforce the operation of the formation's power to prevent the destructive power from spreading. The sword's power finally broke through the blade light that could no longer be sustained. The sword's power continued to pierce upwards. Yang Wu broke out of the ground like a rainbow. He shouted in shock, "Old man, you dare to bully me? Kill!" Yang Wu rarely became so furious. He would only become like this when facing an enemy with deep hatred. Yao Yinhai, as a warrior of the celestial fish realm, had shamelessly launched a sneak attack on Yi Futian, intending to kill Yi Futian. There is already an irreconcilable hatred between Yi Futian and Yao Yinhai. How could Yi Futian let it go? Yang Wu activated his soul eye and seized Yao Yinhai's soul. Yao Yinhai's soul was temporarily separated from his body. He had already lost control of his body, and his soul was in a state of panic. He exclaimed, "Why are my soul and body separated?" After reaching the heavenly fish realm, the soul was already condensed and was no longer the same as the soul of an ordinary person. That was why Yao Yinhai could maintain the soul's perception. At this moment, he watched Yang Wu's sword cut off his head on the spot. "No!" Yao Yinhai let out a heart-wrenching scream. Unfortunately, no matter how he screamed, the result could not be changed. His body was already beheaded. No one could see his soul. When his body was killed and his life force was cut off, he was already a dead man. His soul was rapidly weakening. He didn't even think about it and quickly retreated. If he left a trace of his soul, he might have a chance to live. If his soul was completely destroyed, he would really disappear from this world. There wouldn't even be a chance for him to be reincarnated. Would Yang Wu let him go? It was impossible. Yang Wu took out a urinal and fixed Yao Yinhai's soul with the ability of the soul eye. He shouted, "Take it!" The urinal was a very amazing thing. It was suppressing a weak soul, so it did not matter if it took another soul. Yang Wu could not activate the true power of the urinal, but it was more than enough to take Yao Yinhai. "Let me go, let me go!" Yao Yinhai screamed in horror. Unfortunately, no matter how he screamed, no one could hear him. Only the super experts who had reached the heavenly fish realm could sense it. Yao Yinhai was mercilessly taken into the urinal by Yang Wu. Yang Wu fell from the sky powerlessly. Bang! After a series of fierce battles, Yang Wu had already exhausted all of his strength. When he broke through, he even used up all of his newly recovered strength. The qi in his meridians was rather chaotic, and he was unable to support his body. If he continued to fall like this, he would definitely be injured. Ji Lan Yu and Shi Wenmei swooped down from the sky at the same time. They both wanted to snatch Yang Wu at the same time. They wanted to take advantage of Yang Wu's weakness and take him away. The others were still in a state of panic. They did not see clearly how Yao Yanhai was killed. Yao Yanhai was a legendary figure in the Grand Xia dynasty. He was once the #1 alchemist. He established the Medicine King's Pavilion, established a force, and monopolized the medicine business in the dynasty. Even the emperor had to respect him. Such a legendary figure had died in the courtyard of the imperial palace, under the watchful eyes of so many people. It was really unbelievable. Ji Lan Yu and Shi Wenmei flew down very quickly. They were confident that they could catch Yang Wu before he fell to the ground. However, they did not expect that someone would catch Yang Wu one step faster than them. It was a beautiful figure dressed in white. Her entire body was emitting an ice-cold aura, causing the surrounding temperature to plummet. This was an astonishing aura. Ji Lan Yu and Shi Wenmei both looked surprised. They could sense that the woman who had suddenly appeared was not weaker than them. She might even be stronger than them. They wondered where she came from. Besides Meng Bingxue, who else would care about Yang Wu's life so much? Since she followed Yang Wu, she had been Yang Wu's shadow. No matter where he went, she would follow him like a shadow. Even if Yang Wu did not allow her to follow him, she would silently exist. Without him, she would not feel safe. If a heavenly fish expert said such words, it would undoubtedly hurt people. If such a person did not feel safe, then how could ordinary people like them live? In fact, it was true. Meng Bingxue's soul was incomplete. She only recognized Yang Wu. It's been hard on you. After Yang Wu fell into Meng Bingxue's arms, he said with a trace of a bitter smile. When he was in trouble, Meng Bingxue wanted to help him. He could feel her suppressed emotions all the time. It was he who told her not to do it. It was not until now that she showed up. It was really hard on her. Heartache, Meng Bingxue said concisely. She responded to the sentence. The wound is on his body. The pain is on her heart. Let's go home. Yang Wu felt warmth in his heart. To have such a person who cared about him all the time, this was a kind of luck and happiness. Who are you? After Ji Lan Yu landed, she looked at Meng Bingxue and asked. Meng Bingxue held Yang Wu in her arms. She did not look at Ji Lan Yu and directly left with Yang Wu. Ji Lan Yu frowned and said, "Put him down before you go." After that, she attacked Meng Bingxue. A claw made of xian qi reached out to grab her. Piss off. Meng Bingxue had had enough. She didn't know how to express herself with words, but the anger in her heart was enough. She didn't want to suppress it anymore. She turned around and spat out a terrifying sound wave. That sound wave contained her anger and coldness. It shattered that xian qi claw on the spot. People who were far away did not have a good time. The sound wave was so powerful that it made them dizzy. Some people even fainted because of the sound wave. It showed how horrible the sound wave was. Shi Wenmei was shocked. Her strength was on par with Ji Lan Yu's. Ji Lan Yu's attack was probing, and her strength was not simple. However, the woman in front of her had shattered the claw power with a roar. It was enough to show how terrifying this woman's strength was. Shi Wenmei could feel that the woman had only used a breath of qi. It was not a sound wave attack. If it was a sound wave attack, the power would be even more horrible. Shi Wenmei could not help but wonder, where did this woman come from? She did not think there could be such a powerful person in the mortal world. She vaguely guessed that Yang Wu's identity was not that simple. Ji Lan Yu was frightened by the momentum. When she was about to attack again, she saw Meng Bingxue's face clearly. She screamed as if she had seen a ghost. How come it is you? Chapter 406. Who is Ji Lan Yu? She was the deacon of Mount Amei. She could do whatever she wanted in the mortal world. There was no special situation that could make her so surprised. When she saw Meng Bingxue's face, she was so surprised that she looked like she had seen a ghost. Shi Wenmei was also shocked. She looked at Meng Bingxue seriously. Then she also looked as surprised as Ji Lan Yu and said, "How could it be her? It's impossible." The two celestial fish warriors from the transcendent world were surprised. It was unusual. "I will kill you," Meng Bingxue had been watching Yang Wu being bullied. She was already unhappy. Ji Lanyu still wanted to block her way. Meng Bingxue murderously shouted. She held Yang Wu with one hand and slapped Ji Lanyu with the other. Meng Bingxue acted instinctively. Her palm print was filled with cold qi, and it was aimed at Ji Lanyu. The cold qi was extremely aggressive. Wherever the palm print went, a thin layer of ice crystals appeared. The temperature dropped rapidly, trying to freeze Ji Lanyu. Ji Lanyu was not far away from Meng Bingxue. She could not dodge, so she could only fight back. The power of the two palms collided, exploding with an extremely powerful force. The surrounding array was finally unable to withstand it and completely collapsed. The force swept out in all directions, causing the people in the distance to stagger and fall to the ground. Fortunately, they were far away and the array blocked most of the force. Otherwise, they would be in a miserable state. Meng Bingxue and Ji Lanyu were fighting. Ji Lanyu was forced to step back a few steps. Meng Bingxue did not plan to stop. She took the opportunity to attack Ji Lanyu. She kept attacking with one hand, as if she wanted to kill Ji Lanyu on the spot. Ji Lanyu panicked and said, "Meng Bingxue, stop. Let's talk." Ji Lanyu responded while flying backward. She could sense that Meng Bingxue was much more powerful than her. That cold qi was the biggest threat to her. Meng Bingxue would not listen to Ji Lanyu. Wherever her palm hit, ice crystals appeared. Ji Lanyu had a hard time breaking them. Not far away, Shi Wenmei blinked her eyes and muttered to herself, "I also want to see how powerful the former saintess is." After saying that, she spread out a pair of profound wings and chased after him. "Sister Ji, let me help you." She attacked as soon as she said she would. Her palms turned into two beams of light and attacked Meng Bingxue from behind. She just wanted to mess things up. Meng Bingxue's soul was damaged, but she still had the ability to fight. A sword appeared in her hand. She quickly covered the sword with a layer of ice crystals. Then, she slashed at Shi Wenmei with her sword. In an instant, a long ice sword mark appeared in the sky. It was so dazzling. Shi Wenmei was almost cut by the sword. A chill ran through her body. She patted her chest and said, "You scared me to death." After that, she used all of her power to attack Meng Bingxue. She attacked Meng Bingxue crazily. Ji Lanyu saw that Shi Wenmei had joined in. She gritted her teeth and said, "Meng Bingxue has gone too far. Let's have a fight." Ji Lanyu took out her weapon and attacked Meng Bingxue together with Shi Wenmei. At this time, the three heavenly fish warriors were fighting fiercely in the sky. From time to time, there would be explosions in the sky. People in King City saw it. Most of them were scared and hid in their houses. Some people couldn't help but look around curiously. They were scared by the sounds of fighting coming from the palace. They all thought that something must have happened in King City. The Imperial Guards who were patrolling the official road drove them back to their houses. They were not allowed to run around. The atmosphere was very tense. Wan Lanxin led a group of Imperial Guards to look at the clouds in the sky. She was worried. She thought, "Wu, I hope nothing happens to him." She had heard the news from the palace. Yang Wu had refused to join Mei. Mei was not happy about it. He might end up in a miserable state. She believed that Yang Wu would find a way to escape. But at the same time, she was worried about him. How could Mei be so easy to deal with? In the palace, the emperor and the civil and military officials didn't know how to express their feelings at this moment. They had witnessed one wonderful battle after another. Yang Wu against Huan Junbo, Yang Wu against Yao Yanhai, and now the battle between the heavenly fish realm. They were shocked to see it. Someone swallowed his saliva and said, "Those people are fighting in the sky. I hope they won't make trouble again. The palace has been destroyed like this. What kind of scandal is this? This is not a big deal. The old Medicine King Hall's lord was killed by Yang Wu. I think today is just a dream." What is Yang Wu trying to do? He's really a jinx. No matter what the result is this time, Yang Wu can no longer stay in a mortal world. He is no longer suitable to stay here. Prince Fu and Song Xiang, Song Jing, and Huan Junbo's complexion were not good. They were afraid that they will not get the result they wanted. The emperor thought inside his heart, No wonder Yang Wu doesn't like Xiao Han. It turns out that he already has such a peerless beauty. His luck with women is really not shallow. The eunuchs who were guarding the emperor began to escort him back to the palace. The others couldn't leave for the time being. They must advance and retreat together with the emperor. In addition, many king-level masters were gathering to increase the number of guards in the palace. High in the sky, Yang Wu was being held by Meng Bingxue. He didn't feel ashamed at all. He was recovering his strength at full speed. He also felt how terrifying the battle between the three heavenly fish realm masters was. Meng Bingxue was much more powerful than Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei. She was able to summon a great amount of power. Her ice sword kept slashing out, leaving ice cracks in the sky. Even the clouds were frozen. Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei could not stop her at all. They were all shattered by her sword. Brother Yang Wu is her weakness. If we attack her together, we will definitely win. Shi Wenmei thought carefully. Seeing that she couldn't defeat Meng Bingxue, she had no choice but to think of a countermeasure. At this time, a guqin appeared in her hand. While her figure was moving, she played the guqin. Xian Qi condensed into sound waves and rushed towards Yang Wu. Ji Lanyu continued to slash. Many ice crystals were shattered. Her overbearing sword Qi pierced towards Yang Wu. Kill! 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 Meng Bingxue didn't think too much. She only knew that she had to protect Yang Wu. She couldn't let anyone hurt Yang Wu. She cut off the attacks of the two people, but in order to protect Yang Wu, she began to suffer some injuries. If her soul was perfect, Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei would not be her opponents. But now, her soul was damaged, and she had to protect Yang Wu. It was quite amazing that she could fight like this. Yang Wu realized that he was holding Meng Bingxue back, so he had to respond. Bingxue, I will join hands with you. Yang Wu sent a message to Meng Bingxue through telepathy. He had already prepared the Qi Recovery King Dan in the Qiankuan space. He needed to recover his strength as fast as possible. He couldn't let things drag on like this. Meng Bingxue ignored Yang Wu. She was still attacking. Except for protecting Yang Wu, she didn't care about her own defense. Sword after sword, she injured Ji Lanyu and Shi Wenmei. She wasn't doing well either. Blood splashed on Yang Wu's face. Yang Wu was angry. Meng Bingxue, let go of me. Yang Wu was angry. Meng Bingxue's soul was shaking. She quickly let go of him. She was afraid that he would be angry. Yang Wu got a chance to catch his breath. The wisp of immortal qi in his body had already pacified his messy meridians. The dissolved king core was quickly replenishing his original consumption. The Supreme Nine Mysteries formula was rapidly absorbing the spiritual qi of heaven and earth from the outside world. In a short period of time, he had already recovered 50% of his strength. Now he was already at the advanced Earthsea realm. There was a spring in his Earthsea realm, and a large amount of Xian Qi was endlessly growing in the spring. Even if it was just half of his strength, it was not inferior to a mid-level Earthsea realm's battle prowess, or even more tyrannical. Breaking through didn't only increase his strength. His muscles had also been improved. His talents had also increased, such as the power of the Wind God's kick and the power of the Barbarian God's arm. Under Meng Bingxue's protection, Yang Wu opened his forewings. That's right, for wings. He had a pair of ice blade wings and a pair of blue Xianqi wings. He held a red essence sword in his hand. He and Meng Bingxue had their backs against each other. The two of them were communicating through telepathy. Let's join hands, Yang Wu said. Okay. Meng Bingxue replied with a gentle smile. The art of setting sun and rising moon. She didn't know why she liked to practice this sword skill with Yang Wu the most. It was as if this was the only way they could truly be together. Yang Wu had further refined the power of the Dan. His strength had increased to 70%. He started to move his sword and started to fight with Meng Bingxue. The fire in Yang Wu's heart was beating. It was as if it had turned into a blue sun. He slashed out a sword attack that was even more powerful than before. The dense fire was burning, blocking Shi Wenmei's attack. Shi Wenmei was not someone Yao Yanhai could compare with. Yang Wu's power could not completely block her attack. Meng Bingxue cooperated with him at the first moment. A wisp of cold qi flashed out like a bright moon. One was hard and one was soft. One was hot and one was cold. The different sword attacks intertwined and shattered Shi-Wen-Mei's attack. Shi-Wen-Mei didn't have time to dodge, so she tried to block it. Her zither almost fell out of her hand, and her blood was boiling. Ji Lan Yu had already arrived from the side. Her unique sword skill was quite aggressive. Every move she made was aimed at the opponent's vital points. She didn't show any mercy. This was the special feature of Mount Amei's sword skill. The ancestor of Mount Amei had comprehended the Tao of extinction. Ji Lan Yu thought her sneak attack would succeed. However, she didn't expect that Yang Wu and Meng Bingxue had already formed an yin and yang defensive field. The power of ice and fire intertwined to delay her attack. The fire sword and the ice sword changed their direction and formed the power of the sun and the moon, attacking her. Under the bombardment of the two forces, the sky and the earth changed color. In the end, who would be the stronger one? Chapter 407. Puff. Ji Lan Yu spat out a mouthful of blood as she was blown away. Such tyrannical power! Ji Lan Yu exclaimed in surprise. Kill! Meng Bingxue wanted to kill Ji Lan Yu first. She had sensed that Ji Lan Yu wanted to kill Yang Wu, so she led Yang Wu to cooperate with her. The two of them were moving in perfect harmony. Their sword attacks were coming at Ji Lan Yu from different directions. Yang Wu was not as strong as Meng Bingxue, but that did not affect his power. That was the ingenious part of the sun, setting, moon, rising art. When the two of them attacked together, they could exert 200% of their power. Ji Lan Yu kept blocking, but she was defeated. Her Xin Qi was not enough. She had been hit several times, and her heavenly scale armor had been shattered. Shi-Wen-Mei stopped attacking. She watched coldly and thought, what is their relationship? Why are they together? She is already a dead woman, but she is still here. Something is wrong. Ji Lan Yu was in a difficult situation. She shouted, stop! Don't force me to use my ultimate attack. The scene of Yang Wu slaughtering Yao Yanhai was still vivid in her mind. If she continued to fight like this, she was afraid that she would really be killed. She could escape, but she couldn't because she would lose face. She had to see if Yang Wu would give her face or not. Kill! Yang Wu was about to reply, but Meng Bingxue had already shouted. She wanted to kill Ji Lan Yu not only because of Yang Wu, but also because of something else deep in her heart. Yang Wu and Meng Bingxue were connected, so he could feel her emotions clearly. He thought, does Bingxue have a grudge against her? No matter what he thought, he would do it according to Meng Bingxue's will. Her business was his business. Whoever she wanted to kill, he wanted to kill. The two of them cooperated with each other, their positions constantly crisscrossing. Their two swords slashed out continuously. In the sky, it was as if one could see the power of fire and ice alternating between the sun and the moon. The power of the sun was shockingly hot, and the power of the moon was soft and cold. After combining, the power of the two continued to rise. Ji Lan Yu tried to defend herself, but she was wounded again. The worst thing was that Meng Bingxue had stabbed her in the stomach. A stream of cold qi invaded her body, destroying her life force. Damn it, I am unlucky today. Meng Bingxue, Yang Wu, you will regret this. Ji Lan Yu didn't want to fight to the death. In the end, she didn't reveal her trump card. After all, there was still Shi-Wen-Mei. It wouldn't be good if the other party hit her when she was down. She could only say some harsh words and quickly fly away. Big Sister Ji, why aren't you fighting anymore? Don't run. I'll be with you until the end, Shi-Wen-Mei said with a sneer. Seeing Ji Lan Yu run away, she was quite happy. She didn't like people from Mount Amei. Ji Lan Yu ran away, but Meng Bingxue still wanted to chase after her. Yang Wu had to stop her. He didn't have enough strength to keep her company. Don't worry, Bingxue. There will be more opportunities in the future. Yang Wu comforted her. Kill her. Meng Bingxue changed her target and looked at Shi-Wen-Mei. Don't, Meng Bingxue. There is no enmity between us. Shi-Wen-Mei quickly said. Yang Wu was surprised. You really know her? Who doesn't know the Kunlun Saintess? Rumor has it that she has been dead for many years. I didn't think she was still alive in the mortal world. No wonder we couldn't find her. Shi-Wen-Mei said with a smile. She paused for a while and then added, Meng Bingxue, I didn't think you would like to eat young grass like an old cow. Meng Bingxue just coldly looked at Sherwin Mei. The words Kunlun Saintis flashed in her mind. She vaguely felt like she was awakening some memories, but she couldn't remember them. Her head hurt, and the cold qi released from her body became more and more intense. Yang Wu asked, Bingxue, do you remember something? Kunlun. Meng Bingxue made a sound like she was in a dream. She felt that the name was very distant, but also very familiar. Deep inside her soul, some indescribable memories flashed. She felt an indescribable pain. She held her head and screamed, Ah, Bingxue, don't think about it anymore. Yang Wu realized Meng Bingshue's situation, so he quickly hugged her and comforted her. However, this time, Meng Bingshue's reaction was a bit too extreme. She forcefully pushed Yang Wu away. The cold qi released from her body became even more intense. It was as if it was going to freeze the whole world. Meng Bingxue, don't tell me you lost your memories? Sherwin Mei said. She didn't know Meng Bingxue well, so she didn't notice Meng Bingshue's strange behavior until now. Meng Bingxue was in great pain. The memory was stimulating her broken soul. Her breathing became chaotic, and she fell from the sky. Yang Wu had to go up and hug Meng Bingxue again. He comforted her. Bingxue, don't think about it. Don't think about it. I am here. Go away. Meng Bingxue lost control and shouted. She fiercely hit Yang Wu with her palm. The tragic Yang Wu spat out a mouthful of blood and flew away like a kite with a broken string. Yang Wu's blood splashed on Meng Bingshue's face. The warm blood woke her up immediately. She screamed, Ming! She rushed over and hugged Yang Wu. Yang Wu said softly, Don't think about it anymore. Then he fainted on the spot. The continuous battles had consumed his energy. Even though he had broken through to the high level of the Earthsea realm, his body was still exhausted. Plus, he was hit by Meng Bingshue's palm. Meng Bingxue cried. After her soul was broken, she was basically cold. She didn't know how to feel. When she saw Yang Wu get hurt by her, she felt as if she was the one in pain. Wu! Meng Bingxue let out a horrible scream. She released the cold qi from her body. Suddenly, layers of ice crystals froze, creating a strange scene. Sherwin Mei was frightened. She quickly stepped back. She didn't dare to stay there. She could feel that Meng Bingshue's power had gone out of control. Even if she was frozen inside, she wouldn't be able to survive. When she was far away, she looked deeply at the ice crystals that had formed. A complicated look flashed through her eyes. She murmured, The Saintess of Kunlun is not dead. This is interesting. Then, she turned around and flew down. She found young Karen outside the palace. Master, where is the young master? Young Karen asked worriedly. He's still up there. Master will take you away first. Sherwin Mei responded, pulling young Karen and quickly leaving this place. Did something happen to the young master? Don't worry. I think he is very lucky. He should be fine. The series of battles had come to an end. Everything that happened in the palace was sealed. However, paper can't wrap fire. Some news was leaked out. Yang Wu became the martial champion. The Yang family has all the martial champions. Everyone is jealous. Yang Wu refused to join Mount Mei. He is young and arrogant. He was taught a lesson by the disciples of Mount Mei. This is not a battle between kings. It is a battle between super strong cultivators. What happened in the palace? The battle at the border just stopped. How did it happen in the palace? Many civilians didn't know what happened. Only those who practiced martial arts vaguely heard about it. The officials who witnessed it all went back and didn't say anything. They were still very emotional. This event had caused a great disturbance. The deacons of Mount Amei disappeared. The palace was in a mess. The super strong cultivators of Baiwa sect and Yang Wu disappeared. No one knew whether Yang Wu was alive or dead. They only knew that the Yang family offended Mount Amei and once again fell into a state of isolation. Prince Fu in Prime Minister Song and the others were thinking about whether they should attack the Yang family again and destroy them. When they thought about how Yang Wu killed Yao Yanhai, they felt cold all over. Yao Yanhai was a super strong cultivator of heavenly fish realm. Killing him was simply too heaven-defying. In addition, The woman who saved Yang Wu was a heavenly fish realm cultivator. They didn't know where she came from. Even Ji Lan Yu showed a panicked expression. They were afraid that her background was not simple. They were wondering if there was already an extraordinary force behind Yang Wu. Because of all kinds of concerns, they didn't dare to attack the Yang family. In this precarious moment, the Yang family residence was heavily guarded, with 1,500 Death Legion soldiers taking turns to guard the Yang family residence, trying to cope with any changes. Lu Ji, who has been recuperating recently, had to come forward and prepare layers of defense for the Yang family's small courtyard. At this time, Sun Do, who hadn't returned for many days, returned to King City. Sun Do rode his Fire Cloud Tiger and rushed back from the outside of the city. Originally, the city was now in a forbidden period. No one could easily enter or leave. Fortunately, he had a general's order, so he was able to enter the city. After he entered the city, he noticed that the atmosphere was not right, so he quickly rushed to the Yang family. The people of the Death Corps recognized Sun Do, so they didn't stop him and let him directly enter the Yang family's mansion. What happened? Sun Do pulled Zheng Xiaohu and asked. I can't explain it clearly. Let's go and ask the Lord. Zheng Xiaohu said with a bitter face. Sun Do released Zheng Xiaohu and went directly to the hall to see Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan knew that Sun Do and Yang Wu's relationship was not shallow. He quickly came to the hall to meet Sun Do. Patriarch, did something happen to Big Brother? Skinny Monkey asked bluntly. Yang Jinan said faintly, You and Wu are brothers. Just call me uncle. He became the martial scholar. This is a joyous matter. Why does everyone look so sad? Sun Do asked again. He refused to join Mount Amei. Yang Jinan said with a bitter smile. What is Mount Amei? Sun Do was born in a small place. Mount Amei was very far away from him. He had never heard of any power. It's not a thing. It's a power that governs the country of the Xia dynasty. They control more than 100 of these countries. This time, Big Brother played so big. Chapter 408. Medicine King Pavilion. After Yao Lingyu learned that his father had been killed, he was completely dumbfounded. His father had just become a heavenly alchemist not long ago and was in high spirits. Even the deacon of Mount Amei showed respect to his father and invited his father to go to Mount Amei and recommend him to be the deacon of Mount Amei. Once this matter was completed, their Medicine King Pavilion status would rise sharply and become the #1 force in the Great Xia dynasty. Unfortunately, before his dream could come true, his father was killed by someone. This was simply a disaster. Yang Wu, your Yang family, and I cannot live under the same sky. Yao Lingyu let out an incomparably shrill roar. His alchemy skills were not as good as Yang Wu's. His combat strength was not as good as Yang Wu's. Even his father was killed. What else could he use to take revenge? The Medicine King Pavilion was able to dominate the royal city for so many years and accumulate for so long. They still had a lot of trump cards in their hands. That night, Yao Lingyu mobilized his troops and prepared to uproot the Yang family. Prince Fu and Prime Minister Song. These people are not reliable at the critical moment. I will destroy the Yang family first and wait for Yang Wu to return before making a fuss. Yao Lingyu secretly thought. Just as he was about to lead his troops, a secret envoy suddenly came with an urgent message. When he finished reading the urgent message, his expression kept changing. After a long time, he smashed the table and said, Let's do it. He was very clear about the severity of the matter. The matter that they had been planning for a long time finally exploded at this time. Once it was done, the sky would change. Before the sky changed, Shu Luoqiu sneaked back to the Yang family with a seriously injured body. Before he fainted, he said a sentence to Lu Ji. Someone betrayed us. As soon as this sentence fell, there was a thunderous sound on the spot, and heavy rain poured down. Who betrayed us? Who betrayed us? What kind of reaction did Lu Ji have? His mind was constantly thinking, and he quickly ran to report this matter to Yang Jinan. After Yang Jinan learned of this news, he did not understand what Shu Luoqiu meant. After Lu Ji pointed up, he came to his senses. Without even thinking, Yang Jinan put on his robes and entered the palace. Before entering the palace, Su Rome stopped him and asked, "Can you enter the palace now?" There were people who had been to the imperial prison. Even if they had regained their former titles, they were no longer part of the pilgrimage. It would not be easy for them to enter the palace. Is it difficult for the Marquis of Heavenly Master's father to enter the palace? Yang Jinan looked at his wife and said calmly. He hugged her and then quickly left the manor, heading towards the imperial palace. Yang Jinan only brought 18 light cavalrymen with him as he ran through the thunderstorm. Before they could get far, some King Realm cultivators came to stop them. These King Realm cultivators were all dressed in black and had their faces covered. It was as if they had been prepared for this. Kill! The other party did not even bother to ask any questions as they charged towards Yang Jinan and the others. There were a total of 7 of them against Yang Jinan's 18 cavalrymen. Although they were few in number, all of them had reached the Earthsea realm. As expected, someone wants to betray us. Yang Jinan frowned and charged over with the dragon rebel spear. Guo Xiaofei shouted, "Master, go to the imperial palace immediately. Leave this to me." Just as Guo Xiaofei was about to charge out, someone was faster than him. It was Shou Ho riding on a fire cloud tiger. He let out a long laugh and said, "It's been a long time since I've had a good fight. Leave this to me." Shou Ho took the lead, his body emitting a thick, fiery aura. He waved the broken staff in his hand, and a tyrannical staff shadow smashed towards the people in front of him. Shou Ho had not seen him for many days. Not only had he reached the mid-Earthsea realm, he had also stabilized his cultivation. This speed of improvement was truly shocking. At the same time, his combat strength was incomparable to ordinary people. Those kings had just charged over when they were met with Shou Ho's tyrannical attack. The 2 at the front were immediately sent flying. Another abnormal brat. Guo Xiaofei cried out in alarm as he charged over to help Shou Ho block the others. Yang Jinan soared into the sky. How powerful was a Peak King? A pair of blue profound wings unfurled as he charged over. The strongest of the 7 charged over from behind, directly facing Yang Jinan. He wanted to kill Yang Jinan. Scram! Yang Jinan was wielding a celestial weapon. The dragon rebel spear was like a dragon as it charged forward. The increase in strength was not something an ordinary king could compare to. The king who wanted to intercept Yang Jinan jumped in fright. He was already a high-level Earthsea king, but facing Yang Jinan's attack, there was no way he could block it. Blood splattered everywhere. After heavily injuring this person, Yang Jinan did not stop. He believed that Shou Ho and Guo Xiaofei would be able to deal with them. What he needed to do now was to rush to the palace and pass on the news. Yang Jinan's speed was very fast. Without a Peak King, there was no way to stop him. Not long after, he arrived in front of the palace and had no choice but to descend. In a thunderstorm, the Forbidden Violet Gate was already closed. No one could enter or leave. The palace had just gone through a huge battle and was in a sorry state. It still needed time to repair. "Who are you?" An imperial guard in front of the palace asked loudly. "I'm first-grade Count Yang Jinan. I have an urgent matter to discuss with the emperor." Yang Jinan took out his unique token and said loudly, "It's not morning court. No one can enter without an imperial decree." The imperial guard replied, "It's an urgent matter. Quickly report to the emperor." Yang Jinan shouted loudly. Along the way, he felt that the atmosphere in King City was not right. There were many people who wanted to stop him. Fortunately, he was fast, and no one could keep up. He was afraid that if he was a bit slower, there would definitely be more people attacking him. The other party might not be targeting him, but rather the sudden appearance of uncontrollable factors. They wanted to kill everything. "Count Jinan, you should go back. The inner core of the palace is not a place you can enter as you wish. Moreover, the palace is in chaos. The emperor has no time to deal with you." The Imperial Guard commander, Zhu Imo, appeared and said to Yang Jinan, "Commander Zhu, this is an important matter. I advise you to report it immediately. If you delay this matter, you'll be executed." Yang Jinan said sternly, "Ah, Count Jinan, although you have regained your title, you've already lost your official position. You do not have the qualifications to enter the palace to meet the emperor. No matter what it is not up to you to pass on the message. You should go back, Zhu Mo said with a big laugh. Yang Jinan looked at Zhu Mo and vaguely felt that there was something wrong with him. He said again, I want to meet the emperor. Quickly go and report it. Otherwise, I will force my way in. Yang Jinan, one of the 3 generations of loyal martyrs of the Yang family, braved the rain to come and report an urgent matter to the emperor. Even if he offended the heavens, he had to pass on this matter to the emperor. Yang Jinan, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Zhu Mo said to Yang Jinan with an impatient expression. Although Yang Jinan's title was higher than his, Yang Jinan did not have an official position. He could not let Yang Jinan enter the palace. Then I will have to offend you. Yang Jinan did not waste any more words with Zhu Mo. He opened his profound wings and flew into the palace. Yang Jinan, you are courting death. Zhu Mo roared angrily and rushed to intercept him. However, just as he flew up, Yang Jinan's foot stomped angrily on his face. The difference between the two was too great. Zhu Mo did not even have the chance to react before he was stepped on by Yang Jinan. His body fell into the rain like dog poop. Yang Jinan rushed into the inner court of the palace like an eagle. Bastard, stop Yang Jinan for me. Zhu Mo climbed up from the ground and roared angrily. In an instant, hundreds of arrows shot wildly at Yang Jinan. These were all soldiers of the Imperial Guard. Their battle strength was at the human general realm. The arrows they shot were very powerful. Even a normal king would be shot to death. How could a normal king compare to Yang Jinan? His speed was extremely fast. He completely dodged these arrows and flew towards the emperor's mental cultivation palace. This was the palace's inner courtyard. There were many experts here. How could they let Yang Jinan pass through so easily? Several kings rushed out from different corners and intercepted Yang Jinan. One of them was the Su family's Su Yinshui, one of the city guards. Brother-in-law, what do you want to do? Do you know that charging into the palace is a capital offense? Su Yinshui held his iron rod and blocked in front of Yang Jinan as he spoke. I don't have time to explain to you. I have to see the emperor immediately. Get out of my way. Yang Jinan shouted. You have already committed a great crime. Surrender immediately. Another city protector said loudly. Get out of my way. Yang Jinan was too lazy to explain. With a shout, he continued to charge towards the mental cultivation palace. Brother-in-law, stop right there. Su Yinshui shouted with difficulty. He had no choice but to attack Yang Jinan. The other kings also attacked Yang Jinan at the same time. They had to stop him at all costs. Yang Jinan had no intention of tangling with them. As he dodged their attacks, he swept out with the Dragon Rebel Spear. The tyrannical power forced them back. These city guards were not as strong as him. Even if they worked together, they could not stop Yang Jinan with the Dragon Rebel Spear. The palace's defenses could not only be like this. Someone silently launched a sneak attack. This person seemed to always be in the dark. It was very difficult for others to detect his presence. His sword was like a venomous snake as it silently landed in front of Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan instinctively dodged, but a bloody wound still appeared on his body. The pain caused him to suck in a breath of cold air. The person who launched the sneak attack once again blended into the night. He quickly appeared from a different direction and stabbed towards Yang Jinan's back. Yang Jinan was still unable to react in time and was stabbed in the shoulder once again. The other kings did not attack again. They were very clear that since the person who launched the sneak attack had attacked, it meant that they did not need to interfere. This was because he was one of the top 10 kings, Shadow King. Shadow King had always been very mysterious. Few people had seen his true face. He had always been one of the main lines of defense in the palace. He had killed many assassins who had infiltrated the palace for the emperor. His assassination methods were unparalleled in the Great Xia. Shadow King, you forced me to do this. Yang Jinan roared. The blood in his body was boiling nonstop. His battle strength rose rapidly. The Dragon Rebel Spear let out a majestic roar. Chapter 409. Someone had betrayed them. Who was this person? How could he be so bold? Apart from the battle between Yang Jinan and the people in front of the palace, there was already an army of 100,000 outside the city, surrounding the city so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. When did this army appear? Whose orders did they receive? This army was not from the barbarian suppression army, but from another border army. They belonged to the forces of a king of Fan. This king of Fan was called Wu Sanhao, and he was a king of Fan with a different surname. In Great Xia, there were 5 different nobility titles: king, marquis, count, viscount, and baron. The king was ranked first. Generally, those who could become a king were either uncles with royal blood flowing in their veins or ministers who had made heaven-defying contributions. Only then would they have the opportunity to obtain such a noble title. In the history of Great Xia, there were only a handful of ministers who could become a king of Fan with a different surname. For Wu Sanhao to be able to become a king of Fan with a different surname, it was enough to show that he had made outstanding contributions. Wu Sanhao was stationed in the north, and he had 300,000 soldiers, which was even larger than the barbarian suppression army. He had been friends with the previous emperor in times of adversity. In order to save the previous emperor, he had once suffered 18 cuts on his upper body without dying. Since then, he had been conferred the title of King of Fan with a different surname, and he even had the golden medallion of exemption from death. His position was high and powerful, and even the current emperor had to show him some respect. Wu Sanhao was riding on a demon-faced horse. He looked to be about 50 years old, but he was actually more than 70 years old. His body was strong and mighty, and he was clad in heavy armor. There was a lion's head around his waist, and he was wearing a pair of flaming boots. A thin layer of mystical energy lingered around his body, and even the thunderstorm couldn't touch him. On his left and right, he was surrounded by 8 generals. These 8 generals were all kings of the Earth-Sea realm. They had experienced hundreds of battles, and their killing intent was strong. Wu Sanhao looked at the majestic walls of Monarch City and murmured, "Old Emperor, you passed away early, so you didn't see your 2 sons fighting against each other. When you were still alive, this subject said that Futian's structure was not big enough. He lacked courage and was not the choice of the Son of Heaven. However, you said that he was the eldest son. Since ancient times, there was no such thing as abolishing the elder and replacing the younger. Futian still passed the throne to Futian. These years, Futian seemed to have done a good job, but in fact, it was the result of the old ministers you left behind. If there were no old ministers, he would have already made Daxiao mess. Today, Futian wants to seize the throne. This subject supports him. Futian has the courage of an ambitious person. He can bend and endure, and is a person who can achieve great things. The only pity is that he is too selfish. Let's see if he can succeed. If he can succeed, he can raise Daxia to a new height. If he cannot succeed, let him completely disappear and let Futian continue to take charge. Futian has long had the intention to abolish the Fan family. This subject will give him this opportunity. Wu Sanhao's eyes were full of shyness. This king of Fan has already said who wanted to rebel. Prince Fu and wants to be the emperor. Wu Sanhao stationed his troops here to prevent other troops from coming back to rescue. He wanted to cut off the last rescue of the royal family, and also cut off the royal family's chance to escape. Everything will be solved in King's City. No matter who wins or loses, the result will be known in the morning. A large number of experts from Royal City rushed towards the Forbidden City. The leader was Prince Fuan. He has changed his usual appearance. He changed into a majestic armor and a golden dragon robe. His face showed a firm look as he murmured, "After tonight, this place will become Bun Wang's world." Who would have thought that Prince Fuan, who has always been low-key and didn't participate in the court, would suddenly make trouble at this time? This night, the thunder in King's City was bursting, and the rain was astonishing. In another direction, the skinny monkey-like and Guo Xiafei were fighting against the 7 kings. The skinny monkey-like's fighting strength became more and more powerful. He had fiery golden eyes, so he could easily see the flaws of all the attacks. He violently swept his broken stick. Asterisk puff. Asterisk some kings were hit in the waist and vomited blood, while others were hit in the head. The skinny monkey-like's fighting strength was comparable to a high-level king. Once he activates his bloodline power, he can fight against a high-level king. The skinny monkey-like has become the youngest and most powerful king in Xia, catching up with Yangwu. Guoxia had traveled to Jianghu for many years. He eliminated the strong and helped the weak, and he had a chivalrous heart. His attacks were filled with an awe-inspiring righteousness, and his continuous sword moves caused his enemies to be utterly defeated. Soon, 4 of the 7 kings died in the hands of the skinny monkey-like and Guoxia Fei. The 7 kings never thought that they would encounter such a powerful king. They miscalculated everything. In addition, the other 3 kings knew that they were no match for the skinny monkey-like and Guoxia Fei, so they fled in different directions. It seems that the situation is very serious. We must make some changes. Guoxia Fei said to himself, "Uncle has gone to the imperial palace. There is definitely a big danger there. I must kill them." The skinny monkey-like shouted and rushed towards the imperial palace. Guoxia Fei looked back and said to the other riders, "You guys go back first. You can't help much in this kind of thing." The riders did not listen to Guoxia Fei's words. Instead, they rode their war horses towards the palace. Their strength hasn't reached the king level, but they were members of the Death Legion and now belonged to the Yang family. How could they cower when the head of the family was in trouble? The Death Legion only cared about death. Are people not afraid of death these days? Guoxia Fei revealed a look of surprise. He spread his wings and flew toward the palace. Before the skinny monkey-like and Guoxia Fei reached the imperial palace, a general appeared and shouted at them, "Tonight, you are forbidden to travel. Stay here obediently. Anyone who disobeys will be killed." This general led hundreds of people and blocked the main road, not allowing anyone to pass. The skinny monkey-like and Guoxia Fei didn't care about these people and forced their way through. When they passed through this line of defense, more kings came out to intercept them. This night was definitely the most dangerous night in King City in 100 years. Whether or not the sky could change in King City depended on whether the thunderstorm tonight was fierce enough. In such a stormy night, there was a layer of ice in the sky above King City. It was rare to see a layer of ice in the sky. This ice cloud was not simple. The cold air it released was very strong. Some of the birds that flew over were frozen into ice sculptures on the spot. This showed how terrifying the cold air was. There were 2 people in the ice cloud. A beautiful woman was holding a young man. They had both turned into ice sculptures, as if they had lost their lives. The woman and the young man were Meng Bingxue and Yang Wu. After Meng Bingxue injured Yang Wu, she lost control of her power and froze this place. She was so sad and heartbroken. She just wanted to shut herself up and not face this cruel reality. In her incomplete soul, she could already distinguish that Yang Wu and that Ming Zi were 2 different people. Yang Wu carried the love in her heart, and the other person was the person who wanted to kill her. Her love and hatred were separated. Meng Bingxue was a heavenly fish realm warrior, and not an ordinary one. Yang Wu was hit by her when he was unprepared. He was lucky that he didn't explode on the spot. Since Yang Wu got Little He had refined his body many times. She also used heavenly thunder to refine his body. His body was very strong. In addition, he had a strand of immortal qi in his body, which was his protective talisman. It allowed him to survive even when he was severely injured. Under this ice qi, even a heavenly fish realm warrior would be frozen to death. Yang Wu hadn't reached the heavenly fish realm yet, so he wasn't frozen to death. Instead, he was getting better and better. In this frozen state, there was a power in his dantian that was slowly recovering from his injuries. As his injuries healed, he gradually woke up. When he woke up, he immediately felt that something was wrong with Meng Bingxue. Her soul was weakening, and her life was fading away. She was in a very bad situation. She was asking for death. She didn't want to live anymore. Bingxue, wake up. Wake up. Don't sleep anymore. Yang Wu used heart connection to calm Meng Bingxue. Meng Bingxue's soul was stimulated. She woke up and responded, "Wu, I'm fine. Don't think too much. I'm just a little tired, so I slept. I'm fine now." You should disperse this energy. Yang Wu responded. He paused for a while and then added, I won't let you die. Meng Bingxue was rejuvenated by Yang Wu. She gathered her spirit and started to absorb all the cold qi around her. The ice on her body slowly melted. Yang Wu took advantage of this moment to activate the 9 Secrets formula to absorb the energy around him. He was trying his best to replenish his energy. After the 9 Secrets formula was replenished by 2 kinds of Xian Qi, its absorption speed was extremely fast. It could be compared to an ordinary heavenly fish realm warrior. A lot of Xian Qi kept gathering towards him. The moist water Xian Qi wrapped around Yang Wu. His whole body was shining with blue light. The energy in his dantian was quickly replenished. The Xian Qi turned into rain and fell into his dantian. His dry dantian gathered a lot of Xian Qi liquid and slowly turned into a small pool. Soon, it became a turbulent earth sea. The tides began to stack. An eye of the sea appeared in the earth sea. Many Xian springs were gushing out. The endless energy was running along the 12 standard meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians. His muscles were fully recovered. His vitality was constantly increasing. Every part of his body became tougher. This meant that he had gained the benefits of breaking through to the Earth-Sea realm. At the same time, the soul eye in his divine court Tao flower had a connection with the eye of the Earth-Sea again. The 2 eyes looked at each other from a distance. A bridge was formed, as if it was connecting the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. The Xian Qi in his dantian gathered on this bridge. It began to connect with the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. This feeling was completely different from the feeling of absorbing energy. It was a subtle feeling of clearly controlling the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. It seemed that he could easily lead and absorb the Xian Qi of heaven and earth or use in battle. Shouldn't this be an ability that only a super strong warrior in the heavenly fish realm could have? Chapter 410. The celestial fish realm was formed from the eye of the earth ocean. The fish absorbed the qi of heaven and earth to nourish its body, strengthen its body, and cleanse its soul. Now, Yang Wu had just formed the eye of the earth ocean. He hadn't even formed the shape of a fish yet, but he could use the connection between the eye of the soul and the eye of the earth spring to open the bridge and absorb the qi of heaven and earth. The eye of the soul was a unique talent. Only 1 in a million people had the chance to awaken it. Following the appearance of the heavenly bridge, Yang Wu's absorption of the Xian Qi of heaven and earth from the outside world became even faster. A large amount of Xian Qi crazily drilled into his body. The Xian Qi liquefied, and the earth sea grew bigger and bigger. Yang Wu's power was finally restored. His body was glowing with qi. His aura was more than 10 times stronger than before. This time, Yang Wu had truly entered the high level of the earth-ocean realm. As his cultivation level stabilized, the space in his dantian grew much larger. The divine court Tao flower was greatly nourished and strengthened. Its petals glowed with crystalline light. The way of death, fist intent, and sword intent in the petals all improved with the growth of the divine court Tao flower Tao. This change was very shocking. As long as Yang Wu kept increasing his realm, the fist intent and sword intent would become fist intent and sword intent along with the heaven's Tao flower. In addition, the potential of the kidney and the heart would also increase. The power they could unleash would be even stronger. Meng Bingxue felt that Yang Wu was getting better and better. She didn't want to die anymore. Her spirit was recovering, and some memories were awakened. Her eyes were filled with emotions that had never been there before. When these memories appeared, she felt that the distance between her and Yang Wu was getting farther and farther. In the end, she might even be separated from him. This was a reality she didn't want to accept. After Yang Wu's body was completely restored, he took out a ball of soul fluid and gave it to Meng Bingxue. The king-level soul fluid was what he had prepared for the ghost in the urinal. Meng Bingxue's soul had been stimulated, so the soul fluid could help her recover. He decided that it was time to find some soul spring water and concoct the heavenly soul dan for Meng Bingxue. He didn't want her to be in pain anymore. Meng Bingxue didn't refuse Yang Wu's soul fluid. After she drank some to stabilize her soul, the two of them flew back to King City. By the time Yang Wu regained his strength, the rebellion had already begun. The emperor, who was in the imperial palace, finally realized the situation. It was all thanks to Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan was still determined to break into the imperial palace even after severely injuring Shadow King. Su Yinshui understood Yang Jinan's character. He was ready to help Yang Jinan to meet the emperor. But suddenly, a guard attacked him. Fortunately, Yang Jinan reminded him in time. Otherwise, Su Yinshui would have been seriously injured. After Yang Jinan and Su Yinshui joined hands and caused a commotion, it was impossible for the emperor not to be alarmed. The emperor, who was wearing a dragon robe, was accompanied by a heavenly fish realm eunuch. When they realized that something was wrong, they ordered the imperial palace to be opened. At this time, a big problem occurred. The imperial palace couldn't be opened. A lot of powerful auras appeared, and a large number of people surrounded the imperial palace. There were at least a few thousand people in this group. They belonged to the imperial guards. There were also some people with unknown identities. The leader was Prince Fu, an imperial younger brother. Are you rebelling? The emperor looked at Prince Fu and from the top of the gate tower and angrily shouted, Imperial elder brother, your reaction is too late. It's not too late for you to surrender. I promise you that I will properly arrange other people. Otherwise, you will all be killed. Prince Fu let the rain wet his face and said with a cold face, You traitor, how dare you speak such nonsense? Come, put them all to death for me. The emperor was very clear that Prince Fu dared to appear like this. It means that this matter will not end until one of them dies. So, he immediately ordered the war. Then let's fight. You are not worthy to sit on the throne. It should belong to me. After Prince Fu said that, he waved his hand and ordered the people who followed him to start the war. Many experts in the imperial palace took action. They were the foundation of the imperial palace, so it was impossible for them all to rebel. The imperial palace also sent out an emergency signal, calling for more people to come and protect the imperial palace and kill the traitors. Unfortunately, Prince Fu chose this stormy night with a premeditated plan. Many of his signals could not cause too much movement. They were all drowned out by the storm. The experts in the imperial palace and Prince Fu inside fought fiercely. The imperial guards were divided into two factions. One faction was the imperial guards, while the other was the rebel faction. They were all fighting each other. The war in front of the imperial palace started. After this war, no matter what the outcome will be, the structure of Daxia will completely change. Li Gonggong, kill all the traitors for Zhen. This emperor is really angry. The emperor said to the eunuch next to him, This official will protect the emperor. The eunuch replied, Zhen ordered you to kill, just kill. As long as Prince Fu dies, who will dare to rebel? The emperor shouted again. The eunuch no longer spoke nonsense. He turned into a flash of lightning and rushed towards Prince Fu. This was a genuine heavenly fish realm powerhouse. Killing him was as easy as taking something out of his bag. Just before he was about to kill Prince Fu, a person quietly came out of the night. A lot of rain was pushed away by his power. There was a dead aura floating in the air, as if the world fell into silence because of his appearance. After Li Gonggong saw this person, his old face showed a trace of surprise and said, General Hua, do you also want a rebel? In Great Xia, there was only one person who could be called the protector general of the country, and that was the Death War King. He was the leader of the top 10 kings who had made a name for himself. He had made great military achievements at the border and had intimidated the people there. So he was given the title of Protector General. I'm a person who should die, but now you want me to return the favor. The man indifferently said. Looking closely at his appearance, it was the face of a dead man. A black line floated on his scarred face, which meant that the impure way of death was eating away at his life force. He did not have much time left. The War King of Death was still unable to control the Tao of Death. All these years, he had been fighting against the Tao of Death, hoping to gain control over it. He had even replicated a death demon in an attempt to graft the Tao of Death onto it, but to no avail. He had been able to survive until now by relying on pills and a strong will to suppress it. Now he can no longer suppress it. Even the pills were no longer effective. Today he was here to repay a debt of gratitude, but also to seek death. The War King of Death was a legendary figure. He was once a prison slave, and after completing his mining mission, he entered the army of death to atone for his crimes. He had been hunting barbarians at the border, and gradually grasped the will of death and condensed the Tao of death. From then on, his strength increased rapidly, and in just a short 10 years, he had killed countless enemies and shocked the border. No matter who mentioned Death War King, they would give him a thumbs up. Many warriors idolized Death War King, and he was their goal. A person who wants to die, why don't you just die? Why do you still want to cause trouble in the palace? The eunuch shouted. He flicked his finger and attacked Death War King. No matter how strong Death War King was, he was only a peak War King. In the Gongong's eyes, he couldn't withstand a single blow. The power contained in his finger was very strong. In an instant, it was aimed at Death War King's heart, wanting to kill him on the spot. Others didn't know Death War King's weakness, but Li Gongong knew it very well. As long as he didn't get close to him and wasn't affected by the death aura, the way of death wouldn't be able to take advantage of him. Just as he thought that his finger attack would kill the Death War King, he realized that the Death War King had already moved. His finger attack missed his target. Li Gongong was surprised and said, "Could it be that you've broken through?" The Death War King didn't answer. He took out a ghost-shaped battle blade and stepped toward Eunuch Li. He released his death aura and covered the area within a 1-mile radius. Everyone in this area, whether they were allies or enemies, felt a sense of death. They felt like they were about to die. The weapons in their hands fell to the ground, and their faces were filled with despair and fear. Li Gongong was prepared for this, but his mind was still affected. He felt like his life force was being taken away, and he fell into the fear of dying of old age. "Don't try to scare me." Li Gongong clenched his teeth and screamed. His body rushed over like a ghost. His palms were filled with a dark blue energy, and he attacked Death War King. Nether Fiend Palm. This palm contained a dense fiendish aura. It was as if a demon from the underworld had appeared and bound Death War King. Death War King met the palm attack head-on. His sunken eyes revealed a ruthless light. He held the ghost-shaped battle blade with both hands and slashed out. Death Blade Art, Tendon Cramp. This was Death War King's self-created Death Blade art. There were a total of 5 moves. They were Tendon Cramp, Skin Flaying, Corpse Dismemberment, Decapitation, and Soul Extermination. Every move was ruthless, and blood would be spilled when the blade was drawn. The Nether Fiendish Palm collided with the saber. The Nether Fiendish Palm was cut in half on the spot, but the saber continued to surge toward Eunuch Li. Li Gongong was in the Heavenly Fish realm, so it wasn't easy to kill him. He took strange steps and cleverly dodged the attack. He was ready to attack Death War King again. The moment he dodged the attack, the Death War Monarch had already appeared on his other side. The saber light that contained the path of death descended once again.